FFA chapter and have 1 year prior Eddy County Fair experience. For more info, call 575-703-5139. The Artesia Boys High School Soccer Summer Camps are coming up July 7th through the 9th for boys and girls 4 years old to entering 8th grade. Boys Soccer is also hosting their fundraiser 3v3 and 5v5 tournaments on Saturday, July 12th in Artesia at the Mac Chase Complex. For more information or to sign up, call Myrna at 575-914-1140. To have your event listed on the KSVP community calendar, email calendar@ksvpradio.com. Please let us know at least 1 week in advance.
This is KSVP and K229 AS Artesia.
This hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. With Vice President Vance casting the tie-breaking vote, the Republican spending and tax cut bill has been sent to the House for final congressional action, which could come today. Congressional Republicans enjoy their highest approval rating in more than a decade.
A record high share of American voters are content with the work of Republican lawmakers, according to the latest NPR PBS News Marist poll. In the survey conducted last June, 36% of registered voters approve of the job Republicans in Congress are doing, the highest level recorded since pollsters began asking the question in 2011. Democrats in Congress, meanwhile, have seen a dramatic drop in their approval rating in the latest poll.
Correspondent Bernie Bennett. It is another win in the legal arena for President Trump.
Paramount has agreed to pay $16 million to settle President Donald Trump's lawsuit over the editing of a CBS 60 Minutes October interview with then Vice President Kamala Harris. Paramount says the money will go to Trump's future presidential library, not Trump himself, and that the settlement does not involve an apology. But Paramount has agreed that 60 Minutes will release transcripts of future interviews with presidential candidates, subject to redactions as required for legal and national security concerns. I'm Donna Warder.
The University of Pennsylvania is formally apologizing to its female swimmers negatively impacted by its policy on so-called transgender athletes. The school is reversing its policy and will rewrite its athletic record book, removing the titles held by Leah Thomas. Guilty plea expected today from Brian Kohberger, charged with the murder of 4 University of Idaho students several years ago. With a plea, Kohberger gets a life prison sentence instead of a death sentence upon conviction. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures down 14 points and NASDAQ futures off 87. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about Relief Factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. Look at her and I said, the pain is gone. And she said, I'm glad it helped. I said, no, you don't understand. It's gone.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Dr. Howard D.C., founder of Balance of Nature and formulator of the fruits and veggies and fiber and spice supplements, has teamed up with veterinarian Dr. Jake to create Dr. Fido's Dog Food Topper, a tasty, nutritious way to enrich your dog's meals. Just scoop, sprinkle, and stir. Call 888-388-7297 or go to drphytos.com, drphytos.com. And for a limited time, order now and receive a 10% discount with our money-back guarantee by using promo code BALANCE.
A wildfire in Spain turns deadly in the midst of a punishing Europe-wide heat wave.
Spanish authorities say 2 people have died in northeastern Spain in a wildfire that spread quickly before firefighters brought it under control. Catalan Regional President Salvador Illa announced the deaths in a social media post around midnight on Tuesday. The fire came amid a European heat wave that sent thermometers soaring across large areas of the continent and set record high temperatures for June in Spain and Portugal. A total of 16,000 acres burned before firefighters established a perimeter and declared the blaze was under control. Some 14,000 people have been ordered to stay indoors. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
And heat alerts are in place today for 17 Italian cities. The corresponding surge in air conditioning straining the electric grid, causing periodic blackouts. Part of Florence's historic center suffered a blackout yesterday following a surge in electricity demand. Townhall.com. Operation Road Test uncovers driver's license fraud.
Staten Island prosecutors say a New York City driving school paid off DMV examiners to fraudulently fast-track driver's licenses for illegal immigrants, regardless of whether they knew how to drive. Officials say T&E Driving School in Queens took cash from non-English-speaking Chinese immigrants and paid off a crew of Department of Motor Vehicles employees on Staten Island to illegally obtain driver's licenses. The crackdown was a joint investigation with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Tasha Stevens reporting.
After President Trump complained about the previous one, a new presidential portrait of Mr. Trump now hangs in the Colorado Capitol. The new artwork is a sterner, crisper image than the earlier one that had been on display since 2019. Mr. Trump complained on social media the previous portrait purposely distorted his image. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you know someone who is having a special date or event, a birthday, anniversary, or something big is happening in their life, let's make them the KSVIP. On their day, we'll say something on the radio about your special person, and they will receive a beautiful flower from Nell's Floral. So call KSVP at 575-746-2751 and nominate your KSVIP.
Mowing my front lawn. I know they're all thinking I'm so white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I wanna roll with the gangsters. So far they all think I'm too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Really white and nerdy.
At MIT, got skills, I'm a champion of D&D. MC Escher, that's my favorite MC. Keep your 40, I'll just have an Earl Grey tea. My rims never spin, to the contrary. You'll find that they're quite stationary. All of my action figures are cherry. Stephen Hawking's in my library. My MySpace page all totally pimped out. Got people begging for my top.
Hey there, good morning, and welcome once again to the Good Morning Artesia radio show. It is Wednesday, July 2, 2025. Does my hair look okay? I don't know. It got wet for some reason. I think somebody left the sprinkler on. Or, as Lana said this morning on the way into work, don't they know we're trying to paint a mural? So of all the times to have the rainfall, it's when they're trying to paint a mural. So anyway, I think, who was it that I see? I think Linda sent me a note yesterday, and she said they had finished up painting, let's see, what'd she say here? We quit at noon in preparation for the rain, so I hope it was dry enough. Yeah, that's coming along nicely, that mural project, and she sent me some more pictures, and I posted them online, and I sent them to Jeffrey, so you'll probably start to see those over the next couple of days of all the great volunteers that have been turning out to help with the painting of the wall. It's looking really good. I think the chamber ladies were supposed to help today. Way to go, Jessica. You picked the day that it rains as the day you're supposed to paint, and it's raining, so you're not going to have to paint today. Good job, Jessica. That's really, that was pretty smart that you were able to figure that out. Barking Guy and I have been sharing pictures back and forth of alligator Alcatraz, and I think one of the best posts I saw on X yesterday was a dude who said, this is going on with Trump, the big beautiful bill with Trump, this is with Trump, blah, blah, blah with Trump. He got this going this week, he's been fighting with this week, and he released a new cologne. Everything else that's going on in the world. He's got people negotiating deals with Hamas and Israel. He's got the it's quiet right now between Israel and Iran. We got, the Senate and the big beautiful bill. Now it's over at the House and the big beautiful bill. We still have, the Democrats think they have found something that you will side with the Democrats on, and therefore start to hate Trump and hate the Republicans, and see if the Democrats can bottom out as far as their popularity is concerned and start to come back up again. It seems that, and our governor has been in on it. It seems like they poll tested the big beautiful bill cuts Medicaid. And that seems to have gotten some traction. And so now every governor and every Democrat senator and every Democrat congressman is running with it. It's going to cut Medicaid and take food out of the mouths of babies. So that's what you're going to hear from the Democrats in their opposition to the big, beautiful bill. It cuts 17 million people off of Medicaid, and it takes food out of the mouths of babies. That's the argument, and apparently that's testing well in polling data. That seems to be a popular, or at least a well-received talking point that the Democrats are running with right now. Our governor, the great and powerful Michelle Lujan Grisham, had a couple of posts on X yesterday. I urge New Mexicans to call Republican members of the U.S. House immediately and demand that they vote against this awful bill. Now, I don't know if the governor is aware of this, and somebody who knows her well might want to get a hold of her, pull her off to the side, and both of you sit down so you can see eye to eye, and explain to her that she and her party gerrymandered the congressional districts in the state of New Mexico. New Mexico has no Republican members of the House of Representatives. Gay Vasquez, Democrat. Teresa Ledger Fernandez, Democrat. Melanie Stansberry, clearly a Democrat. So I'm not sure who she wants you and I to call. I guess we could call some of the Texas Republicans in the House, because there's a bunch. There may be some from Arizona. There might even be one from Colorado. Isn't Lauren Boebert a congressional member? Isn't she from Colorado? I mean, even the people of Colorado still have at least one Republican in their congressional delegation. So that I thought was interesting, is that she would put out this post on X and it urged New Mexicans to call Republican members of the U.S. House We don't have any. All of ours are Democrat. So I guess we're going to have to call the people of Florida and Texas and Iowa and Arizona and even the lady in Colorado and explain to them that, you know, we don't have any Republicans in the Congress in New Mexico. Can you help us and make sure this thing gets passed? Wait a minute, that's not what she wanted. Anyway, I just thought it was kind of interesting that she would actually put that out there. The responses, some of the comments, the replies to her post are pretty funny. The other thing that's not getting any traction, and I haven't really seen it picked up by the mainstream media, was it the Department of Health or the Department of Justice? I think it was the Department of Justice. Announced a couple of days ago that they had cracked a fraud ring that was bilking Medicare and Medicaid to the tune of billions of dollars. And so the White House's point, and what their spokespeople have said, is that we're getting people off of Medicaid that are able-bodied Americans that should go out and get jobs if they're going to get government assistance. And we're getting people who are here illegally off the rolls of Medicaid so that what money is available will actually go to people who actually qualify for the program and will receive the benefits that they need to receive. And, of course, that's not part of the conversation on the other side. The other side just sees it as a cut. Whatever it is, oh, you can't cut that. People will starve and babies will not have food. It's a little more detailed than that. But anyway, that's going on. So that'll, and because the president has said he wants that big, beautiful bill on his desk by Friday, and whether or not the House can get it done. But I think the same thing in the House is going on that was going on in the Senate. And I mentioned this, and Stegall mentioned this, and other people have mentioned this. It's really kind of hard to be a political pundit or commentator and express any kind of opinion and do interviews with people in Congress to talk about the big, beautiful bill, because the situation is so fluid and it's rapidly changing, and different things and negotiations and stuff are going on as we speak. And so we really won't know until Friday whether or not they get the big, beautiful bill done in time for the president to sign it. What would be awesome is if they did get it passed and it goes to the White House and Trump has a signing ceremony on Independence Day, and everybody that attends gets handed some of Trump's cologne. All right. It is raining out there, and we're having a pretty good shower right now. It's still coming down pretty good. We've got the streets are flowing. The water runoff is running. We've got a bridge. We need to build a bridge over the River Quay here downtown. It's going to be hard to walk across the street for folks getting to work in the big building across the way. So let's see, Steve-O, what's our forecast telling it's going to be like today?
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll be getting clouds and a pretty good chance of rain and thunderstorms today. We still have that monsoon flow coming into the area. Showers and thunderstorms possible till about midnight tonight, then just cloudy. We'll be in the mid-60s, and then scattered showers and thunderstorms again on Thursday with our high in the mid-80s. Clearing up on Thursday night. Good news for our Independence Day, sunny and low 90s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's raining. 67 degrees, going up to 77 today. Humidity at 92%. The dew point is 64 degrees. Winds are out of the south-southeast at 7, gusting to 14. Pressure is at 30.00 and steady. Our air quality index is 50. We have good air quality. 35/100ths of an inch of rain in the last 24 hours. Another 1/4 of an inch is expected over the next 24 hours. Our high today is going to be 18 degrees below the average for this date. We'll get the highs and lows and rainfall totals official for Artesia here in a little bit. Today, as Steve-O mentioned, pretty good chance of rain, 77 for a high. 50% chance of rain tomorrow, or 50% coverage of rain tomorrow, 83 for the high. And then for the Independence Day weekend, sunshine, 92 on Friday, 95 on Saturday, 92 on Sunday. And it looks like we've got sunshine and upper 80s to low 90s all next week for the weather. It's cloudy, 67 in Carlsbad, light rain, and 67 in Rosberg, cloudy and 65 in Hobbs, America. Across New Mexico, we've got sunshine, 62 in Albuquerque, mostly sunny, 56 in Santa Fe. Flood watch, cloudy and 52 in Cloudcroft, 55 and cloudy with a flood watch in Ruidoso. Cloudy sky, 65 in Alamogordo, 67 in Las Cruces. Sunshine, 60 in Gallup, 64 in Farmington, 55 at Taos, 48 at Red River, 64 in Clovis. And in West Texas, they've got some rain, 66 in Lubbock, cloudy, and 69 in El Paso. And again, looks like we've got a pretty good area of rain moving up through the Artesia area. Right now, 67 degrees, but it may tail off within the next hour. We got a new radar image for Jeffrey to put up on the screen, so if you're watching online, there's where the rain is right now. Okay, let's take a look at our menus and see what's going on. I think Jackie's been working on some new slides, Jeffrey. Let's see if we can see what they look like here. For the school cafeterias, they're doing the free summer meals. 18 and under are free. Adults and guardians with the kids, $2.50 for breakfast, $4 for lunch. And it's dine-in only at Park Junior High and Zia Intermediate. Breakfast today will be egg and bacon burrito. And lunch today will be the beef nachos, lettuce and tomato, ranch-style beans, and fresh pineapple. So it's beef nachos for lunch today at those summer meal sites for Artesia. Senior meal site today. Let's see, is that the green chili cheeseburger? Yum. Tomato and onion. Green chili, of course. French fries. Broccoli with red peppers and watermelon. So it's green chili cheeseburger today with the tomatoes, green chili, and onion. Cheese, of course, and that's all at the senior meal site today. Heck of a deal for the seniors. What is it, $2.50 a meal? Something like that? Pretty good. Senior Center. What are we doing at the Senior Center today on this second day? We've got, cool. We've got the exercise video at 8:15. Hopefully Carol will be happy with that. You see that, Carol? We have it's up on the screen, all your stuff. So while we're talking about it, people can see it. Exercise video at 8:15. PALS at 9 o'clock. The Advisory Council will be gathering at 9 o'clock. Howard will be there from Here on Earth to service hearing aids. That's from 9 to 11 today. They're having the birthday potluck for the month of for the month of July today. So if you're having a birthday in the month of July, today is your day. And bring a potluck item to share. The Senior Center will be serving up a good old all-American hamburger for this birthday potluck today. That's at 12 noon. After lunch today, we've got the wood burning at 1 o'clock, the bridge at 1 o'clock, Mexican train at 1 o'clock, and sewing at 1:30 this afternoon. That's excellent, Jeffrey. Tell Jackie she did a good job there. The library. What are we doing today? We've got the children's story time at the library today. Library, I know it's library. So we've got the children's story time and a craft. They'll be doing that at 10:30 this morning. The black light painting for the teens, that'll be at 1:30 this afternoon. So those are the two items that are on the schedule for today. The children's story time at 10:30 with a craft, and the black light painting at 1:30 this afternoon. Pretty cool. School calendar today looks like the only item on there is the Artesia High Band at the Texas Tech Band Camp. So there you go. All right, let's take a look at birthdays. We got a bunch of birthdays that are being celebrated today. So we want to say happy birthday to Sue Prude, Carrie Caton, Sheila Brown, Rosie Marrow, Melinda Piper, Gloria De La Rosa, Mary West, Beverly Horde, and Ann Waller. So happy birthday, and it's all ladies today, it looks like. Sue, Carrie, Sheila, Rosie, Melinda, Gloria, Mary, Beverly, and Ann. All having happy birthday. Look at that. There's the names, the birthday names up on the calendar there. So you can see the names. Now, we did not have a KSVIP today. If you know somebody that's having a birthday, call us up at 746-2751, press 0, and that will ring Tana's phone. And Tana will take down your information for your KSVIP. We'll congratulate them on their birthday or on their new job or their retirement or their grandmother again or a grandfather again or whatever special thing. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to write a book. Just give us a few things about them that you think is special. And then we'll get them on a day. Hopefully, if it's their birthday, we'll put it on their birthday. We can always do a belated birthday or a weekend, mention it on Friday or Monday if it's a weekend birthday. And then Nels Floral will create an absolutely wonderful arrangement, and either me or Lana or Tana, well, Lana or Tana, not me, but somebody, will deliver the flower, or they can pick it up here at the radio station. And they'll be recognized on the radio. We'll talk about them every hour on the hour for the day, and it's free. Thanks to our friends at Nels Floral, they do a great job with the arrangements. So Tana will be here in about 35 minutes. So 746-2751, press 0. If she doesn't answer because she's either busy or at lunch or whatever, just leave a message. She'll call you back, and we'll get your honoree on the next KSVIP opportunity. And I think you'll be pleased because somebody will be recognized. They'll be pleased because they get a beautiful floral arrangement from Nels Floral. Nels will be pleased because they love making people smile with their arrangements. I'll be pleased because we don't have to hear Holly. I'm just kidding. By the way, Jeffrey, we need to get a hold of Holly and make sure everything's good. Anyway, let's take our first break of the day, then we'll come back, and I've got more news that Jeffrey will love to share with you. That's coming up next on the Good Morning Artesia radio show.
Amy's Fireworks is ready to help you have the brightest and most explosive Independence Day celebration ever. With the largest selection of 500-gram fireworks in southeast New Mexico. Sparklers, Roman candles, fountains, firecrackers, rockets, parachutes. Amy's Fireworks family packs start from just $8. Shop in air-conditioned comfort at Amy's Fireworks. 1650 North 1st Street in Artesia, also in Roswell and Carlsbad.
Se habla español.
Serving you since 1980, Amy's Fireworks.
NMDOT presents.
I'm Jules.
And I'm Nico. Today we're looking at the top 3 most dangerous things you can do while driving. Number 3 is shaving your cat. Number 2, juggling buttered slinkies.
Is that butter?
And the number 1 most dangerous thing you can do while driving is being drunk.
We know that summer is party time, but you don't want it to be jail time.
So how about we designate a driver instead?
Yeah, shout out to the DD.
Hey, New Mexico, help us end DWI. This message brought to you by NMDOT.
Looking to start, continue, or complete your higher education journey? Join the more than 5,700 current Greyhounds on their journey to student success. Eastern New Mexico University offers the most affordable higher education degree in the Southwest, and New Mexico residents can go to school tuition-free with the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship. With online or in-person degrees, ENMU is the right choice for you. For more information, visit enmu.edu. ENMU, student success, that's what we're about?
Mac Energy Company is working to develop today's energy with tomorrow's technology. Technological advances in recent years have presented new possibilities for exploration. We strive to utilize these advances and stay abreast of innovative technology to ensure that our company is a forerunner in the quest for energy for many years to come. But more importantly, Mac Energy Corporation is committed to being an advocate of the communities around us. We invest in community initiatives that focus on youth, education, and innovative projects that address local issues. To learn more about Mac Energy, our affiliates, and our commitment to our youth and communities, visit us at mec.com.
Hi, this is Danny Kirkendall with Guy Chevrolet Company in Artesia. We're celebrating 100 years in business here on the corner of 1st and Main in Artesia, and we invite you to come see us for your new Chevy, GMC, or a just perfect pre-owned vehicle. Our GM certified team is ready to assist you, so give us a call at 575-746-3551 or visit us online at guychevy.com.
Guy Chevrolet celebrating 100 years at the corner of 1st and Main in downtown Artesia.
If you're a service member, veteran, or family member who's feeling alone,
whether you're in crisis or not,
don't remain silent and suffer alone.
There is help out there.
Talk to someone you can trust.
Free confidential support is available 24/7 through the Veterans Crisis Line. Just text or call 988 and press 1 for veterans. Talking to someone about suicide won't increase the risk of suicide. It could save a life.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Department of Veterans Services, the Department of Health, the NMBA, and this station.
Hey, what are you doing 4th of July night, Independence Day night? Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Independence Day night? What are you doing the night of Independence Day? Why not go out to the Adobe Rose? They've got a band. It's Hang Loose, Roswell's funnest garage band for over 17 years. They'll be there Friday night, 7:30 to 10:30. A blend of classic rock with a hint of country. And you can enjoy the taste of New Mexico, your favorite cocktails, beer, or wine. That's the Adobe Rose. Just off 13th and Ritchie in Artesia. Across there from the Fletzy entrance. Friday night. That's the place to be in Artesia, New Mexico. All right, time now for news that Jeffrey will enjoy. We'll get Jeffrey in here, see if he does enjoy this news. I know he's a big fan. I was talking with somebody yesterday, and they needed a timer, and so they pulled out their phone, and I said, "Oh, you're one of those people." And he looked at me like, "What?" I said, "You're an Android person." And they said, "Always have been, always will." And I felt sorry for him, but
well,
that's
you
okay.
know, some people did try the dark side and then came back to Android, but
yeah, not many.
Well, more than you'd think.
Less than you think.
Agree to disagree?
No, you're just wrong. Apple,
You're
by
in
the
wrong
way,
place.
I told them this is funny. Apple rumors are they're going to be coming out with a folding phone.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what it's going to be called. You know, the iFold. The number one phone amongst the Democrats, the iFold. And Israel is in Iran and Hamas, the iFold. Anyway, it's the rumors are that it's going to be, the screen is going to be made by Samsung.
Oh.
Which Samsung has a number of different folding phones.
So they're going back to getting screens made by Samsung?
No, Samsung makes a lot of screens for Apple.
Okay, I thought you meant like they're going back, like they had actually switched away from Samsung.
No. They've switched away from Intel. They're making their own chipsets in their processors, and they're getting away from, I forget the company that makes the modems, the cell modems. They've got the C1 chip, which is their own modem for 5G and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, a lot of the silicon and stuff, they're getting away from other people and doing that. But I think Samsung is still a major manufacturer of screens for not just Samsung, but other people like Apple. And apparently, Apple engineers have figured out how to make it to where there's no crease. Every other folding phone that's out there, there's a crease.
Yeah.
And supposedly, Apple has figured out, If you make it this way, there will be no crease, and it's going to be $2,500
You know, though,
for the iFold.
That is awesome that Apple has come up with something on their own and not bought it from someone else, or just, something that makes Google users go.
I think it makes sense. They're not going to come out with a phone with a crease in it because that looks terrible. Yeah. And everybody else, we got a folding phone. Just ignore the crease. We got a folding phone. Just ignore the crease.
I've never used one. I don't like them, so I don't.
Belinda had one, and it broke a week into using it. She had the Flip, the Samsung Flip, and she immediately went back to the phone store and said, give me an iPhone. And that's what she has. All right, here's news that Jeffrey will like. A federal judge on Monday rebuffed Apple's request to throw out a U.S. government lawsuit alleging the Technology Trend Center has built a maze of illegal barriers to protect the iPhone from competition and fatten its profit margins. The 33-page opinion from U.S. District Judge Xavier Niels in New Jersey will enable an antitrust lawsuit that the U.S. Justice Department filed against Apple 15 months ago to proceed. Niels has set a timetable that could see this case come to trial in 2027. Apple has sought to dismiss the lawsuit, arguing the Justice Department has distorted the contours of the smartphone market and made a series of other misinterpretations that warranted the case to be thrown out. The case seeks to pierce the digital fortress that Apple has built around the iPhone, iPad, and other products, the so-called walled garden, allowing its hardware and software to mesh seamlessly for users. The Justice Department alleges the walled garden has mostly turned into a shield against competition, creating market conditions that enable it to charge higher prices and stifle innovation. That's a crock of bull droppings. There's plenty of competition. If you don't want to be in the walled garden and play in the walled garden, don't buy an iPhone. You can buy Samsung, you can buy Huawei, you can buy Motorola. I mean, there's all kinds of and look, more and more of the competition is coming up with ways to mimic the synchronicity that the Apple people have had. I can't tell you how many times my stupid Windows computer has said, let's put this in OneDrive, let's put this in OneDrive, let's put this in OneDrive. And I'm like, no, I don't want it in OneDrive, because when I open the document, it takes you 30 seconds to open the document because you got to go to OneDrive. So I don't like the OneDrive, but they've got the OneDrive. I just can't tell you how many times Microsoft and others have said, hey, you can combine this with your phone. Google is another one. They've done a great job of, if you're in the Google garden, that anytime you log in with Google, this happened to me the other day. I needed to go to a website where I had my username and my password saved in Chrome, and I opened up Chrome on my iPad, logged in, and boom, there were all my tabs and all my passwords and all my usernames. Why does this have to happen?
I don't know. Sounds to me like you have a problem with Windows like everyone else in the world.
That's true.
I mean, what I want to know is, can we get Microsoft, all of our Windows machines, can we get them fixed by sending Gates to prison for his either biological weapons or Epstein connections? Can we just get him away?
Yeah, and he was at the Bezos wedding.
Oh, yeah.
With all the other hoi polloi. I don't know. It just seems to me like there's plenty of competition if you don't want to be in the walled garden. Why do the courts think that they have to break it up? Are they going to go break up Google's walled garden? Are they going to break up Microsoft's walled garden? I mean, I don't understand. There's plenty of competition. And I don't care if you have an iPhone or not. If you don't want an iPhone, don't get an iPhone. There's smartwatches. If you don't want an Apple Watch, go get another. I don't understand why somebody's successful at creating their own environment that we have to tear it down because maybe the Samsung one doesn't work as well as Apple, so we got to get into the Apples. The Microsoft one doesn't work as well as Apple, so we got to break in.
The only thing I can think of is if I break my pixel or something, I can take it to a store and they can fix it.
Right.
And it doesn't void anything. An iPhone, if you open it up, everything is gone. You can no longer get support.
So?
That's the only thing.
If that's a problem for you, don't buy an iPhone. You don't have to buy an iPhone.
So maybe that will be their settling out a court of we'll tell everyone that they'll not be able to buy any products from anyone but Apple, and no one except an Apple certified technician can open your phone.
That's what it is now.
Right. If they tell you out front, then that'll be the...
But I know that. Nobody had to tell me that. I didn't have to learn that after the fact. I knew that.
So I
did my research.
Right. How many people do research? None. They want the government to do it.
Is that the fault of Apple or Google or Samsung?
Have you ever seen the government fix anything? Exactly. All they do is create more problems.
Exactly. All right. We have a guest waiting in the wings.
Bureaucracy.
We have a guest waiting in the ring. Anyway, I got more agitated over it than Jeffrey did. We'll be back in just a minute.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Artesia firefighters and police officers joined in on Monday to help with painting of the mural near Eagle Draw. Anyone can help create the mural. A sign welcomes people to help create the artwork. The National Championship Air Races recently completed its first ever pylon racing seminar at its new home in Roswell. The 4-day training event brought together race officials, volunteers, and pilots preparing to compete in the upcoming races. The National Championship Air Races are scheduled to take place in September. PRS is a long-standing requirement for pilots who are new to the event or have not raced in the past 3 years. And a few new details in a fatal train incident on Saturday near Alamogordo. Railroad officials said a trespasser was struck and killed by the train near Eddy Drive and Mesa Verde Ranch Road. Kristen South, Senior Director of Corporate Communications with Union Pacific, said the unnamed man was walking along the tracks when he was struck. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
At Lowell's Pharmacy, we'd like you to be part of our pharmacy family.
You and your family getting all the things you need, where personal service is always guaranteed. Prescriptions filled faster with dependability. That is why we're called the Family Pharmacy.
At Lowell's Pharmacy, we're known as the Family Pharmacy for a lot of different reasons. We offer a wide selection of health and beauty aids for the entire family. And whenever you drop by Lowell's Pharmacy, we make you feel like you're dealing with family. We like it that way at Lowell's Pharmacy. And you know something? You're going to like it that way too. Lowell's Pharmacy.
And that is why we're called the Family Pharmacy.
Lowell's Pharmacy, 612 North 13th, across from the hospital in the Artesia Professional Building. Lowell's Pharmacy.
It's time for the Eddy County Sports Report. Why not start looking forward to the fall sports? And let's start with of course, the Artesia Bulldogs football team, a team that came close to winning yet another state championship last year. Artesia started the season by losing 2 of their first 3 games. Ended up 9-4. The only other two losses were to Roswell High in the championship game, 41-22. Those 22 points, that was the lowest output of the season. This team never scored less than 39 points other than that game. And, of course, the Bulldogs lost a lot of players from that, but they've got some All-Staters returning, including Chris Aguiar, a first team on the defensive line last year as a junior. Bryce Parra was also honorable mention as a wide receiver as a junior. Artesia opens August 22nd at Carlsbad. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at KSVP Radio, AM 990.
Caught off guard by a video call with your boss? Maybe you just rolled out of bed. Here's how to look camera ready in mere seconds. I'm Kim Commando for Native Path Collagen. Get 45% off plus free shipping and a free gift at getnativepath.com/Kim. Getnativepath.com/Kim. Bad lighting makes you look tired, sick, or like you'd rather be somewhere else. Fix it fast with one setting. In Zoom or Google Meet settings, turn on Adjust for Low Light. Instantly brighter, instantly better. Moving on, no time to get ready? You can actually apply digital makeup. Turn on studio effects in your Zoom settings. It adds things like lipstick or smooths out any stubble. Portrait touch-up mode is the equivalent in Google Meet. Not bad. Last step, blurry video is a big no-no. It can make you look unprepared. Turn on HD mode in Zoom. Google does this automatically. The bottom line, if you haven't tinkered with your video platform settings, do it now for a better-looking you. And sign up for my free newsletter at getkim.com. Tech is amazing, but it does take a toll on our lives. We're all guilty of spending hours just hunched over our screens, and those times of endless doom scrolling. It's not just draining your mind, it's aging your body too. That's why I take Native Path Collagen every single day. It helps replenish what your body loses over time by repairing joint and skin damage and restoring that youthful glow from the inside out. Outsmart the digital fatigue and take the supplement your tech-filled life needs, Native Path Collagen. Because screen time shouldn't show on your face. You'll feel the difference naturally with my 45% off deal. That's 45% off with free shipping and a free gift bundle. Here's what you need to do. Go to getnativepath.com/Kim. That's getnativepath.com/Kim. Get 45% off right now at getnativepath.com/Kim.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary.
Let's see. We need to do this. Turpinning & Son Mortuary of Artesia presents a listing of today's obituaries. We do not have any announcements to share with you today. This listing has been presented as a service by Turpinning & Son Mortuary of Artesia, where we make it personal. We'll be back with our first guest of the day right after this.
When was the last time a bank asked you about your needs or your goals? When you're a member of Artesia Credit Union, you get to use your money for something more important than fees and finance charges. You get to use your money for you. Membership is open to anyone who calls New Mexico home. Become a member of Artesia Credit Union today and see what your partners can do for you. North 5th Street in Artesia or online at artesiacu.org. Artesia Credit Union, member NCUA.
Growing things in Roswell is a battle. Your lawn's trying to turn brown, your trees are wanting to turn yellow, the weeds want to take over, and the fleas and ticks are trying to move in. So come down to Roswell Seed Company and choose your weapons. We have fertilizer to make your lawn lush and lovely, iron to keep your trees nice and green, sprays to kill the weeds, and more sprays to chase away the fleas and ticks. This is Ben Manette from Roswell Seed Company. Yeah, it's a jungle out there, except it never rains.
Welcome to Answers with Ken Ham. The account of origins presented in the Genesis is a simple but factual presentation of actual events and provides reliable basis for man's worldview and a framework for scientific investigation into the question of the origin and history of life. Answers with Ken Ham is brought to you by Harvest Fellowship at 2307 West Main in Artesia. Call Pastor Ronnie Williams at 746-6195. Now, today's Answers with Ken Ham.
Only one race. This is Ken Ham, CEO of the ministry producing Answers Bible Curriculum. Early evolutionists believed there were different races that evolved at different times. One high school textbook in America at the time taught students there were 5 races and Europeans were the highest type of all. Yes, this evolutionary idea of different races led to racist attitudes which are sadly still around today. But this evolutionary prediction fell flat when genetic research confirmed there's only one race, the human race. Now, the Bible has been teaching for thousands of years there's just one race. We're all descended from Adam and Eve, and we're all one blood. The evidence confirms God's Word.
To get more solid answers on science, God's Word, and cultural issues, go to AnswersRadio.com. You can sign up for daily insights from Ken Ham at AnswersRadio.com.
Hey, we're back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show, and our first guest of the day. By the way, we have Haley Kleins coming in next hour. Kirk Irby will be here from Lowell's Pharmacy to talk medicine and health and all that good stuff. And then our CVE update is today. But right now, Mariana Martinez joins us from America's Job Center, New Mexico. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming down all the way from Roswell.
I live in Roswell, but I work in the community of Eddy County, so Carlsbad and Artesia. I love it.
Good, good. How were the roads this morning?
It was rainy. I didn't have to canoe in. I did drive.
Well, they say, we got a note from the highway department, and they're hoping to have the bridge fixed by the end of the year.
That would be wonderful.
They, I guess it was damaged worse than what they initially thought. And so they're getting the designs approved, and then they'll start construction. Hopefully, that's what they said in their words, hopefully by the end of the year.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. Do you actually slow down?
I do slow down. I'm a law-abiding citizen.
You know, most of the time we do. The other day, Sunday, we were driving up there, and one of the vehicles we have has that adaptive cruise.
Yes.
And so I was driving. I didn't touch the brake. I just let the adaptive cruise slow down. And Lana's like, "Are you going to go through there this fast?" And I said, "They are."
It's based on whoever's in front of you.
So I don't think I'm allowed to do that in the future. I'll tap the brake and I'll slow down to the right speed. Anyway, we want to talk about some employer roundtables that are coming up.
Yes.
We've had them before, as long as the weather cooperated.
Yes, unfortunately, the one in January we had to postpone due to the snow. We've had some interesting weather this year, to say the least. But we're going to be having employer roundtables not only here in Artesia, but also in Carlsbad. So for Carlsbad, it's going to be on Thursday, July the 10th, from 2 to 4. And then in Artesia, it's going to be on the 11th from 9 to 11.
So Thursday, the 10th.
Yes.
In Carlsbad.
2 to 4.
2 to 4.
And that'll be at the Southeast New Mexico College. They've been gracious enough to allow us to use their space. It'll be in the instructional building in room, excuse me, I think it's 163.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll confirm that.
Yes.
Make sure that's
Yes.
good. And then on the following day, on Friday, July 11th.
Here in Artesia.
Here in Artesia at the boardroom of the public schools in their admin building, 9 to 11. So let's talk about what an employer roundtable is. Matter of fact, I think you're bringing in the big boss is coming down for this, right?
Yes, and we're very, very glad to have our cabinet secretary, Sarita Nair, for the Department of Workforce Solutions. She's going to be coming in to talk to employers to kind of, just provide some information about what our agency does. Anything from unemployment insurance to employment services, as well as labor relations. And so to share that information, some people may not know about it, but also to get some insight from the community, from those employers. What is your struggles? What are some ideas? Let's have a conversation as to what your needs are. And so I think it's a really great opportunity to connect to our agency, but also our cabinet secretary.
That's great.
Yes.
And I'm sure you'll talk about the services that are provided for employers. In the area. So do you want to touch on some of those today?
Yeah, of course. So our employment services, we offer business services. So we can either do something as simple as posting a job for an employer. We can refer individuals over to those open positions to help fill them, because we know that sometimes is hard for employers. But also more than that, we have a business team that can actually build training specifically for businesses, whether that be customer service or even something that you may be struggling with. Maybe it's de-escalation, whatever it is that you feel like your business may need, that team can build that training for you. We have various things like assessments that can be part of your, application process to kind of see how is that person going to fit in with what I need before you hire them. So it's really nice that we can have, those services available for these businesses, and it's at no cost.
Right. No cost. Directly, you don't have to buy a ticket to come to those things.
Yes.
Also, in the last couple of years, there have been some changes to what the proper word is, I guess, when a separation of employee when they leave, what paid time off and paid
Yes.
medical leave, and so I'm
Yes.
sure a lot of employers still have a lot of questions about those.
Exactly, and that falls into our labor relations department, which is within our agency. So she'll be touching a little bit on that. Like you said, the paid sick leave, it's still new to people, it's still new to businesses. They may not even realize, especially if you're a small business, that came about in July of 2022. So we're here, 3 years later, but still it does take time. Some other things people don't even realize is we have, that requirement that there's posters that be posted in your establishment stating, things about the hourly wages and workers' comp and those things. We offer those posters for free in our offices.
Mhm.
So just having some of that insight and knowing where to go and using them as a resource. It's not just someone that's going to go and, investigate those things. Yes, they do that, but they're also a resource. If you need to know about those things, they can actually, provide those presentations for you to learn more about it.
That's good to know about the posters, because how many times have you gotten an email that wants to sell you those
Exactly.
posters? But they're free.
Yes.
You just have to, can you just drop in? Okay.
Yeah, and we have them in English and Spanish.
Perfect.
Yes.
Because that's what a lot of people speak around
Yes.
here.
Yes.
So it's very helpful to have that. Do people need to RSVP or ahead of time, or would you like to?
We would like to, but there should be plenty of room for anybody that's wanting to attend. If they want to RSVP, they can email me. My email is mariana.martinez@dws.nm.gov. And I'll spell that first name because it is a little tricky. That's MARIANNA.
Well, I know I have it right because you wrote this.
Yes. I wouldn't mistake that one, I don't think. It's a little early, but not that early.
All right. Dot Martinez.
Yes.
At dws.nm.gov.
Yes.
And I'll have that here, so if you need that email address, we'll be happy to provide that for
Thank
folks
you.
that might need it. So it really doesn't matter if you have just 2 or 3 employees, or maybe you've got hundreds of employees.
Yes.
You're probably going to learn some things at
Most
this roundtable.
definitely. Most definitely. There's things like WOTC, the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. We have that within our agency as well, that if you're needing help with that or need to learn more about what it is, there's certain individuals that could qualify for tax credits for employers. And so that's a benefit whenever you're trying to, again, cost save and things like that in your establishment. A lot of wonderful information that she's able to provide. And again, we're able to provide in our office.
Sure.
And so I just encourage employers to come be part of that conversation and learn a little bit, but also give your insight.
What about services for veterans?
So we do have veteran representatives in both the offices. He's there in Artesia on Tuesdays, and then he's in Carlsbad on Wednesdays. And so there's specialized services for veterans, because again, we want to thank them for their service and try and help them get to where they're wanting to be.
Mm-hmm. So that's good to know.
Yes.
Yeah. What else would you like to share about and the name change now? This came about just recently, didn't it?
Yes. We were going to do a ribbon cutting whenever we came for this employer roundtable in January, but
it
with the
snowed.
weather. But yes, we were previously New Mexico Workforce Connection, and now we're America's Job Center. And it's more just to be more in line with other establishments around the country. You can hear them say like America's Job Center Network. And we were part of that, but it's easier if someone's wanting to relocate and say, hey, I need to find a job. I need some help. And a lot of people think of our office as unemployment, but I always call it the reemployment office. And we try and help you with whatever you're needing, whether that be just a simple resume or a mock interview. It's if you're wanting maybe something like a short-term training or credential, we have some services for that. So just let us be a resource. And if it's not something we're able to help you with in our office, let us help you find where you need to go.
That is great. And so if somebody's looking, if an employer is posting a job, most likely, well, I don't know. They're probably looking for people around this area, but can it also be posted around the state or even in other job center offices across the country?
Yes. So once you become, basically verified in our system and you have an account, you're good for the whole state of New Mexico. So we realize that there's sometimes people that do businesses in multiple places. And so we can either post that for you ourselves here in our area for that region, or we can also loop in that area so that way they can help with that recruiting process. Like you're saying that you need 5 positions filled. Okay, let's see who we're working with in that office so we can do those referrals over.
Wow.
Let's screen those individuals to make sure that we get you the best fit.
That's fantastic. Do you just walk into your office here or in Carlsbad and say, I need help?
In Carlsbad or Artesia, you can, or you can reach out to both of our offices.
Uh-huh. Do you have, what are your regular hours?
So here in Artesia, we're open Monday through Friday. We're closed for lunch, noon to 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Carlsbad right now, it's Monday through Friday, same lunch hour. But Mondays and Wednesdays, we close at 4.
At 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, it's like 8 to 5.
Yep. Yep.
Every place else. That is fantastic.
Yes.
So let's remind everybody again, because this is coming up next Friday. Not this Friday. This Friday is Independence Day.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but I'm taking the day off.
Yeah, I am. We are.
Good for you. But next Friday, here in Artesia, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Artesia Public Schools Boardroom in the admin building on Bulldog Boulevard.
Yes.
You have to say that, by the way.
Yes, Bulldog Boulevard.
There you go. We were talking off air about where Mariana went to high school, but we won't bring that up on the radio. No, it's okay. And then Thursday, the day before that, will also be in Carlsbad.
Yes.
At the Southeast New Mexico College from 2 to 4 on Thursday, the 10th. So be sure and attend. If you're a Carlsbad business, attend that one. If you're here in Artesia, do that. Was there anything else we needed to cover today?
No, that's all about it. And again, just one more invitation to all those businesses. Please come out and see us. Come be part of that conversation and bring your suggestions and your insight.
Excellent. Mariana Martinez, thank you so much. Good to see you.
Have a good day.
It didn't snow today, did it?
No.
All right. News is next.
Hall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Ahead of tomorrow's government update on the job market, ADP is chiming in. The payroll processor says 33,000 private sector jobs were lost last month. That stands in sharp contrast to what economists had been expecting. After squeaking through the Senate by a paper-thin margin, President Trump's spending and tax cut bill has been sent to the House for a final congressional workover, and the president is pleased.
The bill passed, and I think it's going to do very well in the House. We'll see how that works out, but looks like it's ahead of schedule. See what happens. Happy about it.
North Carolina Republican Congresswoman Virginia Fox chairs the House Rules Committee.
From delivering historic tax relief to reigniting our economic engine, creating massive investments in border security, to capturing generational savings and much more, H.R. 1 is the embodiment of the America First agenda.
And Mr. Trump hopes to be able to sign the bill on Independence Day. The Wisconsin Supreme Court's liberal majority striking down the state's 176-year-old abortion ban. The University of Pennsylvania stripping Leah Thomas of the titles he won when competing against female athletes.
The college says it also will apologize to female athletes it says were disadvantaged by Thomas's participation on the women's swimming team. The moves were part of a resolution of a federal civil rights case that found the school violated the rights of female athletes. Thomas, a transgender swimmer who last competed for the Ivy League school in Philadelphia in 2022, was the first openly transgender athlete to win a Division I women's title. Keith Peters, Washington.
Tesla sales down sharply in the second quarter amid growing competition in the EV marketplace. On Wall Street, the Dow down 69 points, NASDAQ up 58. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. As Executive Director of Turning Point USA, a national radio host, podcaster, husband, and father of 2, my schedule is about as crazy as it can possibly get. 2 years ago, I made the decision to take control of my health, and I chose PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition because I needed a plan that fit my hectic lifestyle. I travel a lot, and my schedule changes every week, so I need something simple. They customized a plan for my body and my schedule, and I quickly lost 30 pounds. Now I have the energy and focus to get through my busy day. PhD will help you too. They won't let you fail. Just give them a call, schedule your weight loss consultation, and see if their program is right for you. Call 855-696-2020. That's 855-696-2020. The first 11 callers who mention the word healthy will get 2 weeks added to their weight loss package. Call 855-696-2020 and mention the word healthy, or visit them at myphdweightloss.com. That is myphdweightloss.com. It worked for me, and it can work for you. myphdweightloss.com.
That train hasn't already left the station, but Britain's royal train soon will, and for the last time.
King Charles III has accepted it's time to decommission the train, whose history dates back to Queen Victoria, because it costs too much to operate and would have needed a significant upgrade for more advanced rail systems. The train, actually a suite of 9 rail cars that can be hitched to commercial locomotives, will be decommissioned sometime before the current maintenance contract expires in 2027. That will bring to an end a tradition that dates back to 1869, when Queen Victoria commissioned a pair of special coaches to accommodate her travels around the country. Charles de Ledesma, London.
Russia's ramped up military offensives on 2 fronts in Ukraine. The renewed fighting has scattered Kiev's precious reserve troops while threatening to expand the fighting to a 6th Ukrainian region. News and analysis, townhall.com. It's a new home for the FBI, and it's just down the street.
The new FBI building will be in Washington, D.C., not far from the current J. Edgar Hoover building. The Bureau and the U.S. General Services Administration selected the Ronald Reagan building as the new location. It was home to the U.S. Agency for International Development until this year, when the Trump administration consolidated USAID into the State Department and allowed Customs and Border Protection to take over the building's lease. The Hoover building, in use since 1975, had long been plagued by structural problems. Bill Alexander, Washington.
Hurricane Flossie, a powerful Category 3 storm churning off the Pacific coast of Mexico. Maximum sustained winds have been clocked at 185 miles per hour. Flossie's outer bands have been dumping a lot of rain across several Mexican states, although Flossie's center is expected to stay offshore. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, this is Holly from Nels Floral in Artesia, and we are so happy to be the new florist for the KSVIP. If you know someone who is having a special day or event, a birthday, anniversary, or something big is happening in their life, let's make them the KSVIP. On their day, we'll say something on the radio about your special person, and they will receive a beautiful flower from Nels Floral. So call KSVP at 575-746-2751 and nominate your KSVIP.
They see me mowing my front lawn. I know they're all thinking I'm so white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I wanna roll with the gangsters. So far they all think I'm too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Really white and nerdy.
My class here at MIT. Got skills, I'm a champion of D&D. MC Escher, that's my favorite MC. Keep your 40 out, just have an Earl Grey tea. My rims never spin, to the contrary. You'll find that they're quite stationary. All of my action figures are cherry. Stephen Hawking's in my library. My MySpace page all totally pimped out. Got people begging for my top 8 spaces. Yo, I know pie to 1,000 places. Ain't got no grill, but I still wear braces. I order all of my sandwiches with mayonnaise. I'm a whiz and minesweeper, I can play for days. Once you see my sweet moves, you're gonna stay amazed. My fingers moving so fast, I'll set the place ablaze. There's no killer rap I haven't run. At Pascal, well, I'm number 1. Do vector calculus just for fun. I ain't got a gap, but I got a soldering gun. Happy Days is my favorite theme song. I can sure kick your butt in
What's
a game
the
of
phrase
ping pong. I'll ace any trivia.
that Thomas always likes? Just show me the baby. Don't tell me about the whole experience. Right?
Yeah.
So I
gotcha.
Well, you would know. I would have no idea. So on that, let's see here. Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. It is Wednesday, July 2nd. It's the 8 o'clock hour. And Haley is here, even though you guys didn't have a commission meeting yesterday.
No, we're having a little hiatus. It's weird. It feels weird.
Yeah.
All this time.
Aren't I supposed to be someplace?
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels like it, kind of.
That's right.
But it's a good break for this period of time. We've got a lot of other things going on, so it's not like we're not busy. Just gives me time to focus in another area.
That's right. And
Yeah.
then there is a meeting in July, though.
There is, but it won't be till July 29th.
July 29th.
Yes.
Okay. After the fair.
After the fair.
Yes.
That's right.
So all the county commissioners can be in the fair parade, and I was very disappointed. We have a couple of voice talent on our country station, and we got Sean Smalls in the mornings, and we got Digger Wells and the Diva in the afternoons. And I have the Boomer trailer, the one with the new sound speakers in it and all that good stuff. And I said, well, hey, why don't you guys come down and we'll put you in the parade? They both declined.
What?
I know it. And so I'm trying to decide, do I need to be the boss?
Yes. You need to be the boss and just be there.
And just say, okay, you guys, all right, I understand what you're saying now. You're going to be... No.
Yeah.
I don't like doing that, though.
No, you say, come on, guys, we're going to do this. It's fun.
I know.
We got to represent the brand.
Exactly. And we have it's got the new lights on it. It's got the new signs on it.
Yeah, it's advertising, man.
Yeah, it's got the new speaker system in it. I think we put 4 1,400-watt speakers in that thing.
See, it's just part of the job.
Yeah.
Can you play music while you're rolling down?
Absolutely.
Okay, so absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to be there. It's always easier to say no.
Oh, it's real easy to say no.
Yeah, but it's usually
for
not
some people.
Yeah, for some.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's too easy to say yes to. I kind of have that problem. Oh, we can do that. Yeah, I did it again.
Yeah.
But
it goes with the territory. Right?
Most of the time, I have found that when you get dragged into something or go very reluctantly because you just want to stay home or you don't want to put in the energy, generally speaking, you end up having fun.
Right.
More fun than you ever thought you would.
That's right. And
yes.
You will never admit it. You will never admit that you had fun.
That might be true, too.
Because then that would encourage that to happen more.
Yeah, it's just go. Hey, being part of the community is fun. And being not part of the community is not fun. That leads to negativity.
It leads to negativity. Well, it was kind of funny. Yesterday we went to lunch at the hospital.
Yes.
At which people, when you say that, they're going, what?
Yes.
But they have a good...
they have good food.
Cafe there. And after lunch on Tuesdays, I have... and Thursdays, I have my therapy sessions at the physical therapy there. And so when we walked into the cafeteria, all of the people with the therapy group were going in to have a meeting in there.
Oh,
They were all there, every single one of them. You know, and they said, "Oh, you need to come on in and join us." And I'm like, "I don't want to sit in on a meeting. I'm going to see you people in an hour anyway."
Okay. Usually getting invited to a meeting, that's a different deal. That's not fun.
That's
that
not
generally
fun.
ends up not being as much fun.
And so what's the meeting about? Well, they said community involvement.
Oh, now they put a twist on it.
Now they put a twist on it. I don't know. I'm probably not one to ask about that. I don't know. And come to find out, it was a presentation by one of their new staff members, who's actually from the Lubbock area. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Somebody from Lubbock coming to Artesia to give a presentation on community involvement.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And so I asked her about it afterwards, and it was part of her college training. And they said one of the things they talked about was in your work, you know, you need to reach out to local media. You need to be on the local radio station. So, well, then maybe I should have sat in.
Maybe I should go to these meetings. Right. You got an ally.
I have an ally. So I said, well, I can probably help with that, you know. The other stuff I don't know, but that one I can probably help with.
Yeah.
But you're right about community involvement because I don't know what things have kind of changed a little bit over the last 20 years or so, and it seems like either we're busier than we were, even though I find that hard to believe because we have all these wonderful tools that are supposed to make our life easier.
Yes.
And we always seem to find a reason not to take part in some of these things, and we also don't maybe pay attention to some of the other ways of finding out about things that are going on in the community.
That's true.
And so we got to use the tools that are out there and what people are messing with. But I was really encouraged to see a bunch of folks show up to help with the community mural the other day.
Yeah.
And Linda sent me some pictures that we put up there. That's kind of a neat project.
That's a very cool project. And actually, we were going to go out there today, but...
Yeah, but you picked the day it rained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't
Good
do it
for
on
you.
purpose. Yeah. It's kind of like washing our car. Wash the car, it rains. So
Yeah.
decide to go paint the mural and it rains. So
Yeah.
whatever, I'm not going to complain. It's awesome out there. So yeah, no, it is true. It's a little different these days. We've noticed that. But, you know, we're trying to find ways to get people involved. It's harder to reach people, which is so interesting because, you know, when I started this job at the chamber or at Main Street before that, so I've been doing this now for 25 years, there were a couple of ways to communicate with people. That was the radio and the newspaper, pretty much. Posters. Now we've got the
Flyers
social...
under windshields
yes,
of cars.
Yes. And now we've got social media that you think would get people more and more tuned in, but... the same thing still happens. Oh, I didn't know about it. I didn't hear about it. It's really hard to break through to people. It makes me think of the ballots and how, the hospital ballots.
Right,
and
right.
how many people said they didn't get them, which may be true, but I wonder too how many people got them and just thought it was junk mail, which is, you know, we rip through our mail very quickly, and
people do that.
you know, 99% of our mail these days is junk mail. So it's harder to get people to pay attention. They're busier, and the blessing of social media is also a curse because I think it's a distraction.
Well, it can be a distraction, and I think some of the statistics associated with it are a little misleading. So yesterday, Linda sent me the pictures, and I said, "Can I post these?" And she said, "Yes." I always ask.
Good idea.
And so yesterday afternoon, I did the post, you know, a lot of folks turning out to help. And it says it's had 7,372 views. Well, that's half the population of Artesia. So if that's true, then at least half the people in town, if you say, hey, did you know they're doing a mural over on the draw? They should say yes.
Right.
But I wonder how many people that you would bump into today and say, hey, did you see them painting the wall, would even know that that's going on.
Right.
And even some of the questions in the comments to the posts are kind of interesting because they're like, well, what is this? You know, what's going on?
Yeah.
And you know, so you understand not everybody knows everything, so you try to answer as many questions as you can. But that's the thing about about some of the social media statistics. Well, this Yard of the Week, we'll post that. We'll have 20,000 views. 20,000 people in a town of 14,000? Wow. I bet everybody knows about the Yard of the Week. And then again, you go and say, hey, did you know there's a Yard of the Week program? No, I didn't know that. Well, how did you not know? 20,000 people.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is just, you know, as you're scrolling through and it just pops up and that gets counted as a view, whether or not you actually stopped and looked at it and read it.
Or even if you stopped and looked, did you retain it? You know, like just, it's so easy to mindlessly look at things.
But my point is, it's no different than the Yellow Pages and the radio and the newspaper. I mean, I could sit here and tell you that our radio stations with our 100,000 watt signals cover 100,000 people. But are they all listening?
Are they all listening?
Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, but some of them are.
Well, I have noticed I do this myself because I think I'm in my head a lot thinking I can have the radio on or the TV and have not heard what they said.
Yeah. Unless it's Gutfeld.
Well, you can't ignore him.
Then
He's
I'm
pretty
paying
funny.
attention to Gutfeld.
I mean, it's just easy to listen and not really hear what people are saying.
I understand. I get it completely, and it's but it is a different time, and then so you're trying to reach people, and because you want people involved in the community, you want people to come to the county fair or to the mural painting project or Red Dirt Black Gold or whatever festival it is that you're having. You want as many people as possible to come to these things.
Yeah, and they're fun. So you just have to take a risk on it. Sometimes it doesn't. Some of these things you may think they don't appeal to you, but if you just go give it a try, you'll find that it's a lot of fun. And I've seen that happening at the Ocotillo. Artesia Arts Council is doing some cool things, and they're attracting a younger audience, and they're having fun. They just didn't know that they were going to have fun down there.
There you go. There you go.
But they're being dragged down there for some reason or another, and then they end up enjoying themselves. That's right. I took a video clip of Kirsten, and she was
when she was painting the lines on the wall.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I watched that with the goggles.
Yeah. Yeah. 12,000 views.
That did get a lot of attention, though. That sparked a lot of curiosity.
It did. I'm glad it did. So it's just interesting.
I probably would have gotten sick, so I commend her for it. I can't. I tried those on once, and it totally freaked me out. But I did go to Google Earth on these things, and I could find my old neighborhood in Egypt.
Okay.
Which was super cool.
Is it still there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of weird.
I have done that too. Some of the places we used to live, and but then it's been so long since I've lived in any of those places that
finding your way around.
Yeah, if
it's still there, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. Well, Tana is going on vacation to Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
We used to live up the road from Gulf Shores, Alabama. Before we moved to Mississippi, before we moved to New Mexico. And of course, it's totally different now from when it was when we were there. We were there in the early 80s. And Hurricane Frederick had come up through the Gulf, Mobile Bay in 79. It had just pretty much wiped everything out on the Gulf and up through the Mobile Bay. And then after that, and all the developers came in, you can't look down Gulf Shores and not see, multi-story condos and all that stuff. It's nothing like it was when we were there. And I asked her, I said, I wonder if the Pink Pony Pub is still there. And she looked it up, and it's still there.
Oh, is she going to go?
I don't know.
She should.
She should.
Are you listening, Tana?
I told her that, in 81, 82, when we moved there, that was like the only thing that survived the hurricane. And it was about the only thing down there until stuff started to rebuild. And she said it's still there, and she's looking on their website, and it says, was it on Friday nights or Saturday nights? At 9 o'clock p.m., all kids have to leave.
Oh.
It's not that they close. It's just, get the kids out of here.
Party time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought that was
they should be in bed by then anyway.
That's right. But no, they used to have a Margaritaville because Jimmy Buffett was from that area, and all that stuff just blew up and grew like crazy. And so I'll have to go do some of that as well. But you did that, your old neighborhood in Egypt, it's still there?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Crazy. I don't know if they ever tear anything down in Egypt.
I don't think they tear anything down in London either.
Yeah, they don't.
All these old shows like Foyle's War and probably Downton Abbey and all that kind of stuff, they don't have to go recreate anything.
No sets.
They just
yep.
Let's go over to this house over here, and it's all the same as it's been for, 200 years, 300 years.
Isn't that something?
It is crazy. Let's do the weather forecast, and then we'll come back and talk about some other stuff.
Awesome.
Haley Klein is here. She hangs out at the chamber when she's not hanging around the county commission office, and we've got some other things going on we'll talk about.
Cool.
All right. But, Steve, what's our weather looking like?
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll be getting clouds and a pretty good chance of rain and thunderstorms today. We still have that monsoon flow coming into the area. Showers and thunderstorms possible till about midnight tonight, then just cloudy. We'll be in the mid-60s, and then scattered showers and thunderstorms again on Thursday with our high in the mid-80s. Clearing up on Thursday night. Good news for our Independence Day, sunny and low 90s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Right now it's cloudy and 67 here in Artesia, and looks like the rain is starting to let up a little bit. Our humidity is 90%. The dew point is 64 degrees. Winds are out of the southeast at 7, gusting to 14. Pressure is 30.00 and starting to rise. Our air quality index is 51. We have moderate air quality. Our high today, 19 degrees below the average for the state. I don't think anybody's arguing with that. We had a high yesterday of 76, an overnight low of 66. A year ago, it was 99 and 68. Minimum 4-inch soil temps are between 75 and 84 degrees. We had 1/4 inch of rain yesterday, bringing our total for the year to 6.32 inches of rain. 6.32 for the year.
Wow.
I'll tell my friend in Illinois, I'll talk to Bob and I'll say, hey, we had 1/4 inch of rain. We're up to 6.32 for the year. And he'll say, we had that yesterday. What, the 1/4 inch? No, the 6.32.
I was going to look. How much rain has Stillwater, Oklahoma had this year?
Are we asking Grok, ChatGPT, or Google?
I'm just asking, I guess Google.
Okay. Because that's a new thing now. Used to be Google it. Now it's AI it.
Yeah. I can't tell the difference. I feel like when I Google things, AI ends up just taking over my life anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, they've had 25 inches of rain so far this year.
25. Okay. That's a little more than 6.
Yeah, they say that Oklahoma's the wettest place in the country, I think.
Is that right?
Right now. 25
Did you
inches
see the
of rain.
tornado that Reed Timmer ran into? Have you seen those clips?
No.
He, he's got that Dominator 3, that tank looking thing. And where were they when they ran across this? This was just in the last week or so. And I mean, like the tornado came right at them.
Oh, really? No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh, I might have to look for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible to see the video of that. And you can see the windshield wipers on the thing are being, sucked towards it. It's like right there. And
Oh,
it's
my goodness.
I don't think I'd want to be in that thing.
Yeah.
I've seen too many movies.
I have not seen any movies, but yeah, it still sounds scary.
Well, what was the one that a couple years ago, Twisters?
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those movies.
El Reno, Oklahoma is where they filmed around.
Okay, that's just down the street.
Okay.
Or
did they put the water tower back up?
El Reno, I think there's a water tower there.
Because in the movie,
yeah, I think there's a water.
It comes down. Is there a streetcar that runs down, a trolley that runs down the middle of the street? Because there is in the movie.
I just drive through, on the freeway or highway or whatever they call it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did some filming around El Reno for the
Makes
movie.
sense. We were driving back from Stillwater one year, I guess it was last year, and we didn't drive through a tornado exactly, but it was that storm that was the makings of a tornado, and I think we got through it before the tornado actually hit. But I had just never really seen anything like it. I mean, there was rain and hail and bad wind and all of that, but just the clouds, the way the sky changed so quickly, and the clouds, and it got very, very dark, and it was middle of the day. I just hadn't really experienced anything like that. It was pretty cool.
There's another YouTuber that I watch, Classic Model Trains. He's out of Billings, Montana. And he went to North Dakota, where he's from originally, and he went there when all those bad storms went through North Dakota. He was there, and he was showing some pictures and video. They took a motorhome, and they were very fortunate. They were about 6 miles south of where most of the destruction was, but where they were camping, trees got blown over, and the campground got all tore up, and it's kind of crazy that you see people now on the internet that have pictures and video of all this stuff, and it's like, wow, that's kind of interesting. Well, I'm glad you're okay, but it's weird. The weather's weird. Do you think the weather's weird? Is somebody, let's put our tinfoil hats on, are the Chinese manipulating the weather? Is that what's going on?
I mean, we have a cloud seeding plane out at the airport. What are they doing?
And I've seen Auntie Barnes and some of her other posts on X, the conspiracies around that. You know about that?
No. I don't. No, I don't.
What are we doing to the weather? Is this on purpose?
What are we doing to the weather? Okay, now you're going to shoot me down you're going to take me off the rails today.
No, all right. We're going to take a break. We'll put our tinfoil hats back on the counter over here, and we'll be back in just a moment.
I'm David. I work for Chevron, and this is my New Mexico. The beautiful skies, the perfect day of fishing on the Pecos River. It doesn't get any better than that. Conserving the natural beauty in New Mexico, it's important to me. Working for a company that values that, That's one of the things I love about Chevron.
Learn more at chevron.com/David.
Incredible in Artesia is open for business, ready to give you the hometown quality and customer service you know and love. Georgia and her team specialize in in-house design for quality custom business cards at a competitive price. From scanning to desktop publishing, if you need it, they can do it. On Main Street across from the Derek Floor statue in downtown Artesia. For all your printing needs, think Incredible.
It is much easier to prevent business fraud than to clean up the damage after fraudulent activities. First American Bank is committed to introducing the newest technology and treasury management solutions. With First American Bank as your business partner, we can help you with our recommended fraud prevention products and best practices to proactively keep your business finances more secure. Talk to a banker today to find out more. First American Bank, your local first community bank since 1903. Member FDIC.
Hocker & Sons of Artesia, a company specializing in excavation and construction, is proud to support and provide construction services to the people and businesses of Eddy County and the surrounding area. With their expert knowledge of the industry, Hocker & Sons is well equipped to offer top-level service and professionalism to all oil field businesses, commercial and private parties with excavation and construction needs. Call Hocker & Sons today at 575-365-3175 or visit their website at hockerandsons.com. Go Bulldogs!
Summer vacation is here, but just because you're on vacation doesn't mean your teeth should be. Protect your teeth this summer with a few summer tooth tips. First, drink lots of water. Believe it or not, most of the problems start with a dry mouth. Keep yourself and your mouth hydrated and happy. Avoid sugary drinks and avoid chewing on ice. Sure, it cools you off, but it's not great for your teeth. Don't forget to brush and floss regularly and dry out your toothbrush. Save your teeth for summer's sake. These tooth tips brought to you by Dr. K. Youngren and Smile Expressions. 2520 Hermosa Drive, Artesia.
Get great service with Pressure Services. Pressure Services LLC specializes in hydrovac, vacuum trucks, kill trucks, sandblasting and coating, and roustabouts. The Bulldogs are champions on and off the field, and Pressure Services LLC are your champions when it comes to dependable, accountable, and efficient service. When you need it right, Pressure Services will be there for you. Pressure Services LLC, 575-736-1047. Go Bulldogs!
I'm glad I have that clarified there.
I was a little confused. I was with you. I was tracking with you.
Hey, those noises you're hearing, it's fireworks. Like at night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they're probably from Amy's Fireworks. Here in Artesia, Carlsbad, and Roswell, making 4th of July the brightest and most explosive Independence Day celebration ever. Large selection of 500-gram fireworks, 5-inch canister shells, and sparklers, Roman candles, fountains, firecrackers, rockets, and parachutes. Family packs start at $8. Amy's Fireworks, 1615 North 1st, and then in Roswell, 1501 East 2nd, and Westley in Carlsbad. So
yes.
Those noises you're hearing, it's causing the dogs to run all over the place. Those
yeah, I have a dog. Yeah, I have 2 little dogs, and they don't care. But I have one big dog, and he does not like it.
Yeah.
He would crawl inside of me if he could.
Yep.
During fireworks and thunderstorms.
We had a couple of those that were like that too. So, and then we had some that just didn't care.
Yeah.
You know.
No, and he hears them from so far away. He hears them before we do, for sure.
Ah, so he's warning you about the impending thunderstorms.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. Let's see. Anything going on with the county right now? I know there's no meeting until the 29th.
Yeah, no meeting. We wrapped up our year, did the whole budgeting thing, and just trying to get, I think, our team is trying to get all of that wrapped up. The year-end stuff is always a lot to get shifted, and we're doing that at the chamber. I know the city's doing that. It's confusing for some people, but our local governments and a lot of organizations, their fiscal years end on June 30th. So there's that. Our county manager's on vacation right now, so it was something he had planned before he started at the county, which he started in January. He's really hit the ground running and is learning his way around the county and figuring out who's who and He's had to deal with some changes over there. It's a different era, how that goes. And just learning about what's going on in Eddy County. The great thing about him, and we've talked about this before, is that he came from 14 years at Lee County, so it's not as if he's unfamiliar with a county that does have some money, the oil and gas industry and all of that kind of stuff. So he's been really good for us. And we're excited to get this next year started and see what's going on. In the middle of all of this, I attended New Mexico Counties, which used to be called Association of Counties. So it's just the statewide organization of counties. They did a 2.5, 3 day conference this time in Clovis. So I guess they do 2 a year. I'm learning still. One's in January, right after the legislative session starts. So like that first week of legislative session, New Mexico Counties has a conference, and it's great. It's all about legislation and setting, I think priorities are generally already set by then, but just revisiting all of that, getting some updates on what they see coming up in the session, so on. I went to that in January and learned a lot, but it was also a little bit like drinking from a fire hose. It was a bunch to take in,
right,
and figuring out who's who. There was also some training going on for newly elected officials at that conference. This one in June was interesting. So some of it was educational. We talked about social media do's and don'ts, as an elected official. That's something that is important to think about, and some of the just trends that you see in as an elected official in dealing with your constituency and your public, whatever that is. And the other part of it was talking about some issues that counties are facing and how to handle those issues, and getting some buy-in from the commissioners who are attending that. So New Mexico Counties is cool because it's for really all elected officials, and not just elected officials. There are also staff people there from the counties, but each elected position has what they call an affiliate. So there's a commissioner affiliate, there's a sheriff affiliate, clerk, assessor, all of that. And I think there are even a couple of affiliates for non-elected positions, but they get in their group, so you're with other folks in your position talking about the things that are affecting your area of work. So for commissioners, it's really about things that could really become legislative issues, I think. Some things that I kept hearing about, or that we talked about kind of extensively, were the Mexican gray wolf, which I kind of learned a lot about that and have a lot more to learn. It's really, really affecting a lot of New Mexico counties. I'm kind of curious, and for whoever's listening to this, if anybody has seen a Mexican gray wolf in Eddy County, I'd be really curious to know. I get the feeling that they're not really here, but it may be a matter of time. So they've been talking a lot about the damage, I suppose, that the Mexican gray wolf can have on livestock. So this is really a farming and ranching for the more rural areas of our state, and the kids waiting in for the bus in cages, which is happening in New Mexico, which is just crazy to me. It's some issues with the Mexican gray wolf getting a little bit acclimated to the environment and then coming up to homes where chickens will be, dogs, and so on. So a little bit of that.
Are they not reading where the boundaries are, where they're supposed to stay, the gray wolf?
They don't.
I mean, here's a protected area for you. Why aren't they staying there?
They are not looking at the signage. I don't know if we didn't teach them how to read before we set them free, or...
I mean, it sounds silly, but I mean, they're wild animals.
They're wild animals, so they are definitely going to spread. And I do think that that's what's exactly happening. They have, I think they said 286. I could have that number wrong, just a smidge, but I think it's about 286 tracked with tracking devices. But I think they believe that there are many more than that, because obviously not all of them are tracked, and as they naturally increase their populations, and not all of those get tracked. So they are watching the paths that they're taking and where they're moving around and all of that stuff. The other part of that was not just the concerns with, fear or danger or your livestock or your children or whatever, but just the rights that people have as compared to the Mexican gray wolf. So I guess the bottom line is the wolf has more rights than humans do. So you can't really, you can't take action if a wolf is attacking your dog or whatever. I think so they're having some conversations about that, and how much of a statewide issue that needs to be for the Association of Counties.
I think if I was in that situation, I'm not thinking about what the law is. I'm thinking about protecting my kids or my pets or my livestock.
Yes.
I would think. And so that would get you in big time trouble, I guess.
It can get you in big time trouble if you kill a wolf. Yeah. So I have a lot more to learn about that. I just was soaking that. I think we talked about it for about 45 minutes, and you've got commissioners from every part of the state sharing their personal experiences, their insights, their constituents' experiences. Some of them, we had a couple of attorneys in the room. It's very, very interesting. And what I have noticed too, and there are some other issues that we talked about, but what I have kind of noticed is that so far, and I maybe just haven't hit the wall yet, but I feel like there are many issues that I think are going to be super divisive, but yet the commissioners from all over the state mostly are on board. They all seem to be kind of on the same page for the most part. And I know that may not always be the case, but I've just found it interesting. You're down at this level, which I call the local level still, and even statewide, we experience a lot of the same things. But then we get up higher, particularly at the federal level, right? And it just gets so divided.
Right.
And it's really interesting to see that, to observe that, and try to figure out where that happens. Why does that happen?
Yeah, I think that's interesting because you're seeing a lot of that at the federal level in national politics. If this politician is for it, then because that's the other party, automatically I have to be against it, or vice versa, or we can't let them have a win. If that happens, that's a win for them, and that's a bad thing. We have to be opposed
no matter
to
what.
that. No matter what.
And I think that even happens at the state level. The legislators get there, and it tends to get divided.
Well, it's like our governor was asking for Republicans to reach out to the Republican legislators to vote against the big, beautiful bill. And I'm like, do you not realize, Governor, that your party configured the congressional districts? We don't have any Republicans to call.
Who are they going to call?
Who are we going to call? Texas? Arizona? I mean, come on.
Yes.
I thought that was kind of funny. You need to call Republican congressmen to vote against this. Well, you made it possible for us to not have any congressional Republicans. So, I don't know. Need to take a break for these things right over here. We'll be back and talk more on Good Morning Artesia.
Now for your Pecos Valley news updates, I'm Jared Cirillo. Artesia firefighters and police officers joined in on Monday to help with painting of the mural near Eagle Draw. Anyone can help create the mural. A sign welcomes people to help create the artwork. The National Championship Air Races recently completed its first ever pylon racing seminar at its new home in Roswell. The 4-day training event brought together race officials, volunteers, and pilots preparing to compete in the upcoming races. The National Championship Air Races are scheduled to take place in September. PRS is a long-standing requirement for pilots who are new to the event or have not raced in the past 3 years. And a few new details in a fatal train incident on Saturday near Alamogordo. Railroad officials said a trespasser was struck and killed by the train near Eddy Drive and Mesa Verde Ranch Road. Kristen South, Senior Director of Corporate Communications with Union Pacific, said the unnamed man was walking along the tracks when he was struck. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Brown Drug in Artesia is more than just a drugstore. We offer a variety of home health care products. Brown Drug also helps cut down on time spent waiting in line with 2 drive-up windows. Plus, Brown Drug is UPS shipping headquarters in Artesia. Our helpful staff makes it easy and convenient to ship UPS in Artesia. For your family's prescriptions and healthcare needs and easy and convenient UPS shipping, stop by Brown Drug at the corner of 4th and Washington in Artesia.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report, sponsored by Abacus Global Management.
The stock market rotated to stocks that have not been doing as well as the tech stocks that have driven the recent rally. So leading gainers included Target and Best Buy, Home Depot, Starbucks, Airbnb, and even the Outback Steakhouse. After the surprising and broad gains from the April plunge in stocks, many investment firms think the worst for stocks is probably behind us. Though other investment firms say, but tariffs may still hurt the economy and interest rates are still high. New taxes on clean energy companies were taken out of the tax cuts and spending bill in the Senate. They also raised state and local tax deductions from $10,000 to $40,000, and computer chip companies got larger tax credits. Now we'll hear what changes in the House. Employers posted the most job openings in almost 7 months, 8 million job openings, though it depends on the state and the industries. The most jobs were in hospitality, food services, finance, and insurance. 4th of July travel has started, and now there have been snags at some airports, including at Newark, where delays are lower than earlier this year, though, partly because they've reduced flights. With business, I'm Joe Connolly.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report, sponsored by Abacus Global Management.
What if the future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around you? At Abacus Global Management, we're reshaping financial planning around the most personal data point, your lifespan. But it's more than just insight, it's control. As a technology-driven asset manager, we're empowering investors with an integrated system to take command of your time, your future, your financial destiny. This is a new era of investing. Take control at abacusgm.com.
It's time for the Eddy County Sports Report. Why not start looking forward to the fall sports? And let's start with of course, the Artesia Bulldogs football team, a team that came close to winning yet another state championship last year. Artesia started the season by losing 2 of their first 3 games. Ended up 9-4. The only other two losses were to Roswell High in the championship game, 41-22. Those 22 points, that was the lowest output of the season. This team never scored less than 39 points other than that game. And, of course, the Bulldogs lost a lot of players from that. But they've got some All-Staters returning, including Chris Aguiar, a first team on the defensive line last year as a junior. Bryce Parra was also honorable mention as a wide receiver as a junior. Artesia opens August 22nd at Carlsbad. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at KSVP Radio, AM 990.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll be getting clouds and a pretty good chance of rain and thunderstorms today. We still have that monsoon flow coming into the area. Showers and thunderstorms possible till about midnight tonight, then just cloudy. We'll be in the mid-60s, and then scattered showers and thunderstorms again on Thursday with our high in the mid-80s. Clearing up on Thursday night. Good news for our Independence Day, sunny and low 90s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All right, it's there's the radar. It looks like, well, then went away. There it is. Looks like the rain is starting to move away, and but we'll see if any more.
I didn't know it was going to rain today. I I told Kevin this morning, I said, what did we do to deserve all this? He said, we waited for like 4 years. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's true.
I guess so. I said, patience is a virtue then, I guess.
That's true. Well, I guess there's a hurricane down off the coast of Mexico on the Pacific side, right? Is that where it is?
I don't know.
Where is this thing? And it's called Flossie? That's the name they call it? Tropical Storm Flossie? I don't know. Anyway, I think that's where some of this moisture is coming from that's kind of flowing up across Mexico and New Mexico and all that. So, but it is kind of weird.
I love it.
To see all
I
this
will not
rain.
complain. I am enjoying it.
The roofers are probably busy because everybody that hasn't had any rain for a couple of years are now discovering that they've got a roof leak.
Oh, yeah. Kevin's truck leaked. All this water came in through his, the sunglasses holder that a lot of cars have now.
Yeah.
It came through there.
Really? That's weird. The trailer that's going to be here for the drone show,
Yes.
they were working on redoing all the lighting and everything, and they were having trouble with the lighting staying on, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. So the guy doing the work started to follow the conduit. There's conduit that comes out the breaker panel underneath the trailer and up to the panels, and they pull the excess covers off of that, and water just comes pouring out of there. Apparently, we had a leak in the trailer a while back, and I think we fixed the leak, but we didn't get all the water out of the trailer, and he found a bunch in the wiring conduit. And I said, what did he do? Well, we left them all off and let it all dry out, put it all back together, and it's working fine now. And he told me that before he brought it down here yesterday that it was at Thomas's house and it rained. I said, well, did it leak in the trailer? No. I said, good.
Awesome.
We got rid of all that. But, it happens to everybody. There's folks out there going, oh, my gosh, I didn't realize we had a leak.
Yeah.
And so hopefully you can find a roofer in a timely fashion
Yes.
to get that stuff fixed. But we're talking with Haley Klein of County Commission fame and Chamber fame. Was there anything else at this meeting of commissioners?
Where
did they have the meeting in Clovis?
We met in Clovis. Some of the sessions were at the Clovis Civic Center, and some of them were at the little community college there, which is, they're just right next door to each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They have a mall there.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
I didn't go.
There's a mall.
Oh. I didn't go shopping.
Oh. Okay.
I stayed in an Airbnb, and I walked around, and it was a nice little neighborhood, and so I scurried back to my Airbnb every evening and took a walk around the neighborhood.
They've been trying to do some stuff on their downtown Main Street there. They've got a lot of the Main Street is the brick road. Mm-hmm. And then they've been doing some paving and some other things, and there's some neat little antique shops and stuff like that in downtown.
I should have done a little more exploring, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll go back someday.
It's not bad. They have a big rail yard presence there. There's a big train yard.
Yeah. Yes, I do know that.
And there's kind of a famous sign over the entrance to the rail yard. It's Santa Fe, be safe, or something like that. It's been preserved and restored, and the neon looks good and all that kind of stuff. It's still there. But they've got their history. Artesia has our history.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. Any other commission news you'd like to share?
Well, a couple of other issues we did talk about is the Freedom of Information, we call it IPRA here, and kind of the rules associated with that, and the how all of that's being handled. People can make requests to local governments for information, and in some cases that system's getting abused.
Okay.
And so there was some discussion around that.
Abused in what way? I mean, you would think on the surface, freedom of information sounds good. We all want to know what our governments are doing.
Yes.
So, is it being abused? How is it being abused?
I think what is happening is some folks are making big, requests, sometimes daily, just asking for random information that puts a lot of people into action and work. Some things have to be redacted. It's a lot of work. I don't think there's nobody is opposed to the idea of it. It's just a matter of how it's managed and how the local governments have to respond within a certain amount of time. And I think some people are, for fun, making that difficult, if you know what I mean. Getting information from your local government's important, and anybody should be able to do that. Making a daily request for the purposes of making it difficult for the government is a whole different thing. How you fix that or control it is a problem that is going to be difficult to solve.
Yeah, I wonder if it's more in law enforcement. I think they deal with some of that too, don't they?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Another issue we talked about, we heard from another affiliate. So there was a point in this conference where other affiliates can make presentations to the commission affiliate for support.
Okay.
And another one was, the words I'm not going to get right. Hang on.
Okay.
The licensure compacts between states, so that I think we have a nursing compact. So New Mexico will recognize licensures from other states around us, but that's it. And so the affiliate who deals with health issues at the county, at the Association of Counties, really wants to see that opened up to other licensure, to doctors, chiropractors, dental, so that we can hopefully attract other medical professionals here. And right now we don't do that in New Mexico.
No, and you read different opinions as to why that is. People talk about the malpractice insurance rates. Another thing that I see people comment on is crime in New Mexico, which is a deterrent not just for doctors and their families, but other people that might want to move to New Mexico. So there are some big issues that we have trying to attract medical professionals.
Yeah, New Mexico has some issues definitely attracting medical professionals, but one of them that could be fixed pretty easily is this compact to recognize licenses from other states.
Yeah.
And why we don't do that is I don't know. So there was a kind of a push for that.
Is that something that counties can do?
Not at the county level. It would be the New Mexico counties as an organization lobbying for that at the state level.
At the state level. Well, good luck with that. Maybe they can also make it to where insurance can be shopped all over the place, kind of like we do with other forms of insurance that we're able to shop all over the place, but we can't necessarily with some healthcare areas. That's interesting. So
anyway,
it's all good stuff.
Lots of stuff to talk about.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
How's the chamber doing?
We're doing good. Still fundraising for 4th of July.
Okay.
This year, drone show, as everybody should know. We did get a call the other day saying that they'd heard nothing was happening for 4th of July. And it was like, aw, here, back to our conversation at the beginning.
What did we talk about at the beginning of this segment?
There is so much going on. 4th of July, you can find that information at the radio station right here. You can also find that information at the chamber. Look on our Facebook page. There are a lot of things to do between the 4th and the 5th. And the drone show will be on the 5th down at JC Park. I think you'll be able to see it from just about everywhere. I think it's 400 feet high. It's 500 feet wide. We have never done this before.
No.
So we're excited to see what it's going to turn out to be, and we hope that people will be pleased with it. It looks cool. The renderings that they are sending us look cool. We're hoping to go really big next year for our 250th anniversary. We're going to celebrate this beautiful nation. But we're still looking to raise money for the show. It's not a cheap endeavor to have these fireworks or any kind of 4th of July activities. So drones, fireworks, drones, it's all expensive.
Looking at the maps that y'all have shared, there's a parking lot just to the south of the two entrances in the JC Park. And if you go park there, you should have a great view of the drone show.
Yeah.
That's where our trailer's going to be playing the
cool
soundtrack.
Yeah, you can go in there. You can go inside the park. Walk into the park or whatever you want to do. There are going to be some food vendors in there. Of course, there's activities going on all day and all of that stuff. So there's plenty to do this weekend.
Yeah.
And we hope the drone show will be cool.
I
it will
think
be.
it will.
I think it will be. I've never seen one in real life.
No, neither have I. Now, they had one a couple weeks ago up in Roswell. Church on the Move did one. And Mike Winters was saying it was fantastic. Their drones had fireworks on the drones.
I have seen that on YouTube videos and stuff.
Yeah, and so when they did the Statue of Liberty, the torch was actually flaming.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? So, but I'm sure this one will be great and impressive. It'll sound like a swarm of bees.
Yeah, it's like 210 drones or something like that.
210? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to get a drone. I'd like to get a drone. We were talking about that the other day. If we had a drone and a pilot with a license, I want to say that on the radio before I get my phone call from the guy in Roswell. I want to get some drone footage of the Eddy County Fair Parade.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And because we're going to have a meeting on that Monday to talk about how we want to shoot that to put it up online.
Cool.
And that's a little different than, in the show ring, where I think a drone would probably cause some problems with the animals if we tried to fly a drone inside the show ring.
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? They're already, they get focused.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
The animals or the kids?
Probably the animals are more focused than the kids sometimes.
Well, that's
no, they all. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
So have you decided what you're going to do this weekend? Have you picked any of the items or
for the activities?
Yeah.
I'll probably do the fun run, but I walk.
Okay.
I don't run. I'm not that cool.
Okay.
I don't golf, but I'll be there.
I mean, there's golf, there's pickleball, there's the fun run, there's volleyball, there's cornhole. There's all kinds of things going on.
I'll just cheerlead.
There you go. And a parade. There's a parade.
I'll watch the parade.
And we'll definitely be out at the drone show. So.
I will be out and about.
All right. Thank you, Haley.
Thank you. You bet. Take care.
News is next here on KSVP Artesia. K229AS Artesia 93.7. That's where the music for the drone show will be on Saturday night.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. They're back on Capitol Hill.
Members of the House returned to Washington Wednesday to begin the process of approving the GOP massive domestic spending bill with hopes of sending it to President Trump's desk by the 4th of July. The body began the day with debate on the rules for proceeding to the debate on the legislation. Fresh off an all-night-long debate in the Rules Committee, ranking Democrat Jim McGovern said the entire process was out of order. Speaker Mike Johnson says the House will have the bill to the White House by President Trump's July 4th deadline so that Congress can begin putting new policies in place for the American people. Bernie Bennett, Capitol Hill.
And the president's urging Republicans to stick together.
As the House takes up the Senate version of the president's domestic priorities bill, he's optimistic about the legislation's chances.
I think it's going to do very well in the House. We'll see how that works out.
He claims the bill has something for everyone and vows that Medicare and Medicaid are being strengthened despite claims to the contrary. The president writes online that the GOP must unite and ignore the occasional grandstanders. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The University of Pennsylvania formally apologizing to its female swimmers negatively impacted by its policy on so-called transgender athletes. The school is reversing its policy and is also rewriting its athletic record book. Ruling 4-3, Wisconsin Supreme Court has struck down the state's 176-year-old abortion ban, ruling it has been replaced by newer state laws that regulate the procedure. Microsoft firing thousands of workers, its second mass layoff in months. The tech giant started sending out the layoff notices today. Word that Tesla sales tumbled 13% April through June. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is down 28 points, while the NASDAQ trading 159 points higher, and the S&P is up 15 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I've been thinking, why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? With mixed messages, fad diets, the quick fix injections, even magic coffee. I mean, it's overwhelming. Most people are exhausted trying to fight a battle they cannot win. If you feel this way, trust me, you're not alone. I used to feel that way too. But let me tell you, it's not your fault. Your body is working against you, and the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Do what I did. I called PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition 3 years ago. I lost 53 pounds. I feel terrific, and I've kept the weight off. Make the phone call that can change your life the way it has changed mine. They won't let you fail. Call 855-696-2020. That's 855-696-2020 to schedule your consultation. The first 11 callers who mention the word healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Call now, 855-696-2020. Mention the keyword healthy to get 2 free weeks. Or visit them at myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com.
Concerned that America's weapons cupboard is looking pretty bare, the Trump administration will hold on to some of the arms that were to be sent overseas.
The Pentagon isn't saying which ones, but the U.S. is halting some weapons shipments to Ukraine. This after a Pentagon review determined stockpiles have declined too much. The White House says the decision was made to put America's interests first, and the Pentagon's top policy advisors stressed the need to preserve U.S. forces' readiness. Last week, President Trump met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines of the NATO summit and left open the possibility of sending more Patriot air defense missile systems, telling reporters,
We're going to see if we can make some available. You know, they're very hard to get. We need them too. We were supplying them to Israel, and they're very effective, 100% effective. Hard to believe how effective, and they do want that more than any other thing.
Ben Thomas, Washington.
News and analysis, townhall.com. She is among the most wanted women around.
In Texas, the mother of a Tarrant County boy missing for more than 2 years now has been added to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list. Cindy Rodriguez Singh is charged with capital murder in the disappearance of Noel Alvarez, who is presumed dead, although no body has been found. The 6-year-old with special needs was last seen at his home in late 2022. Investigators interviewed Rodriguez Singh in March of 23 when they say she lied, saying the boy was with his biological father in Mexico. 2 days later, the woman, her husband, and 6 other kids boarded a flight for India without the missing boy. There is now a $250,000 reward for information leading to her arrest and conviction. Tasha Stevens reporting.
In stark contrast to what economists were expecting, payroll processor ADP reports that America's private sector employers shed 33,000 jobs last month. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, this is Holly from Nels Floral in Artesia, and we are so happy to be the new florist for the KSVIP. If you know someone who is having a special date or event, a birthday, anniversary, or something big is happening in their life, let's make them the KSVIP. On their day, we'll say something on the radio about your special person, and they will receive a beautiful flower from Nels Floral. So call KSVP at 575-746-2751 and nominate your KSVIP.
They see me mowing my front lawn. I know they're all thinking I'm so white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I wanna roll with the gangsters. So far they all think I'm too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Really, really white and nerdy.
My class here at MIT. Got skills, I'm a champion of D&D. MC Escher, that's my favorite MC. Keep your 40 out, just have an Earl Grey tea. My rims
Hey, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show for Wednesday, July 2nd, 2024. Coming up, we've got Kirk Irby's going to join us. We've got Mel from Oakley and Irving Wealth Management because Aaron is on his way to Australia for a couple of weeks. And so we won't be talking to him until middle of the month.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Then we'll have our CBE segment today. I am told that we would not be able to fly a drone in the show ring at the Eddy County Fair. That is a hard no.
That's what the message was, yes.
Yes, I have received that message. I'm sad because I'm looking at one drone here that says it's got 4K 30 frame per second video and 6K camera.
That sounds awful good.
We could see the tears streaming, the tears of joy streaming down the face of the winner in a livestock show. But I was told no drones in the show ring. So I want to get a drone. I think that'd be kind of cool. And then of course I got to take some lessons, and you got to get a pilot's license. You can't just start flying the drone over.
I knew there were some various regulations that I just don't know what they are. I don't have a drone, and I have not been interested in getting one until recently. You know, so
yeah.
It's just not anything that ever really crossed my mind.
I saw one here, and they have a one version and then a second version. I need to find out what the difference is other than the $100 price.
That one has a 2 at the end of the name.
Exactly. And so what's the difference between the 1 and the 2? 4K UHD, 60-minute. Okay, it doesn't have as much fly time. And I don't know if it has the 6K pictures. Wow, this one looks pretty good. I may just, before the day is done, I may just buy a drone. And I don't think getting a license is any more difficult than getting a license to be on the radio.
You're probably correct.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first started in the radio business, you had to actually take a test. You had to go to an FCC run test, and you had to learn things to be able to be on the radio. And then not long after I took the test the second time and passed, they did away with it, and now it's fill out a form and send in $45. And you don't even really have to have it anymore.
You get people that are broadcasting all kinds of stuff on YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah, they don't have a license. Well, that'd be funny. But I'm not advocating that. I really am not. You know, you go back 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, that's different. But
it is.
Today, it's anybody with a selfie camera and a podcast light kit. You know, they can be on the podcasting and do all that kind of stuff. Anyway, Kirk Irby is with us, and let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. And I just need to see if I had a sponsor for the weather segment, and I don't. What's in the news today? What has RFK Jr. done now?
I have not seen anything recently that's come out and made headlines. At least not, you know, in the news feeds that I see for healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is interesting is that I have been looking at a fair amount of YouTube and other video type media, but it's mostly YouTube, and I have all of a sudden been coming up with a lot of diet and health type stuff that some of this shows to be posted 1 and 2 years ago, but it's never come up in any of my feeds. And then now we have RFK Jr. in his position, and all of a sudden these kind of, to me, suppressed type informational videos have been surfacing.
That's interesting. In other words, it was hard to find anything other than you must Get vaccinated. You must do this. You must do that. You can't do that. And any commentary to the contrary seemed to be depressed.
And what I've been specifically looking at is nutritional and diet type information. And there is one doctor, it's a researcher at Duke University that I've been following that is really suggesting for people that have type 2 diabetes to at least look at and consider using the carnivore diet, which is a very low carb type diet. And he's not really, he talks about the carnivore diet, but he's really mainly pushing a low carb type diet. And he said that he's had some very good case studies of eliminating or reversing type 2 diabetes or this insulin resistance that is kind of a pre-diabetes type condition. I have not had a chance to really look into it very deeply, but there are I like what he is talking about and what he has kind of described as his methodology. It sounds, it's very scientifically sound, and it's just very interesting. And one of the things that he has kind of talked about is that everybody should be on this, and that's not something that I agree with. I'm thinking that a lot of the people that he is seeing have already self-selected, is what I like to call it, because he's seeing a lot of people that have type 2 diabetes. So a lot of type 2 diabetics are overweight, some of them just a little, some of them quite a bit. Not all of them, but a large number of them are. And those are the people that are probably benefiting the most from this type of diet. And I'm thinking other people that don't fit into this medical category don't need to be on it, or may not benefit that much from it. I think different people are different. There's different metabolisms. There are different things that people just react differently to. So I do think that there is a lot of truth to what he is talking about, but I think there's some conditions to be looking at of the different people. And almost everybody that I've been looking at when I'm looking at different diet videos, it doesn't matter what diet you're following, the first 2 to 3 weeks seems to always work. And what I am thinking, and this one researcher from Duke did mention this in one of his videos after I had thought about it and just kind of made sense. And when he mentioned it, most people that start on a diet, they're consciously thinking about what they're eating, and a lot of these people are cutting out the snacking in between meals. Maybe not eliminating it, but at least cutting down on it. And I think that's where a lot of this initial weight loss comes from.
No, I would agree, as having lost a bunch of weight recently, but the catalyst is not anything I would recommend anybody else do. It's interesting because you see a lot with the Ozempic.
Yes.
And I've been kind of curious to see what the long-term effects of people taking a lot of Ozempic to control their weight will be. I don't think we know yet because it hasn't been out long enough. If you start at this age and you're on Ozempic for years and years and years, what are the long-term effects of this going to be? Because there's a lot of people that swear by it. They gotta have it, and it helped them. They're losing weight and now they're in much better weight. But do we really know if it's going to continue to be the miracle thing, or if something else is going to be pop up as a result of this.
That's very true, and it still remains to be seen. There have been some initial reports of those types of medications, Ozempic, Wegovy, and whatnot, of causing some slowdown in how the intestines are moving things through, and it is for some people, and for some people it's causing constipation. And it's not just kind of constipation, but has in just a very few instances caused actual blockage, but usually it's just constipation. And if you take care of that with some kind of stool softener like Colace and that kind of stuff, it tends to be manageable. But I think that's an initial type side effect that we need to be at least watching out for. And you're right, there may be other things that crop up after people have been on this for an extended period of time.
It's very interesting because everybody's looking for that miracle. You know,
Yes.
if I just take this, I won't be fat. If I just drink this, I won't be fat. But it's more than just that. What was Ozempic originally developed for? What were they trying to address with it?
It was for diabetes.
It was for diabetes.
It was to help people regulate their insulin levels, and they just found out by serendipity that it also cut down on the people's appetite, so it helped control that. That's kind of listed in the literature as increasing the satiety level of people after they've eaten. So they wind up not eating as much, and therefore that's how they lose the weight. But it was originally developed as a diabetes type drug to help regulate insulin in the blood.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to have a good diet because everywhere you go or every place you look, everything you see, it all looks so good, you know, whether it's pizza or burgers or steaks, Mexican food, whatever. It all looks just absolutely wonderful, and it smells wonderful, and it's like, give me some more of that. It's hard to stay on a healthy diet, isn't it?
It is very hard. Another thing that I have had run across, and this is from a completely different person, but it was on YouTube, and they were looking at the history of people, and they were actually just looking at various ads, TV ads, and people back in the 60s, you almost didn't hardly ever see a overweight person. Of course, you're also looking at TV ads. But they were kind of looking at the diet back in the 60s as compared to today. And most things, I mean, we had grocery stores, and most things you went to the grocery store and you got various things that were partially prepared, or you may have got something that was more or less in its raw form. And you were having to cook and prepare that. And spend some time, and as you go to spend some time to get that ready for a meal, and as you go forward, you have more and more things that are processed, so that you have to do less processing and cooking at home to get that to the table, or it makes it also a lot easier for fast food. That fast food has become much more prevalent than what it was in the 60s. And
you have so many choices now.
There are so many choices.
Fast food, yeah.
And a lot of the fast food is still kind of processed, kind of like you get these processed packaged foods from the grocery store that are much quicker and easier to fix, but and they save time, but they are not as true to the original form that they were in. I'm kind of struggling to see how I can kind of put this in words.
I understand what you're saying, but I think one of the things, going back to RFK Jr., I've heard more announcements over the last few months of large food producers taking out some of the artificial things, or some of the artificial things that they're using, either whether it's the colors or other preservatives that they're using in there. That can't be a bad thing, can it?
I agree with that. Not long after he got nominated for his position by our current president, I saw a article that was looking at Gatorade in the United States versus what's sold in the EU. And what's sold in the United States had dyes in it, and just looking at the bottles, the United States versions were more colorful, the color was more vibrant. But what was sold in the EU had natural colorings in it, like they were using sweet potato extract to get an orange reddish color instead of that red dye that we have. So they didn't look as good, but they, as far as just looking at the color of them, I have no idea how the taste compares, but that was just one of the things that kind of struck me, that the difference between United States and Europe and what they allow on the market.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting to see. I just pulled up, I typed into my Google RFK Jr. News, and so the way the headlines are shaped, it's kind of interesting. Politico, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., latest news, top stories, and analysis. Okay. CBS News, RFK Jr.'s vaccine committee votes against rarely used flu shot. Okay. PBS, Watch, Health Secretary RFK Jr. questioned about vaccine policy. MSNBC, lying and dishonest, RFK Jr. grilled over error-ridden Maha report. AP News, RFK Jr.'s vaccine policies and earlier promises conflict. ABC News, RFK Jr. lays out new studies on autism shuts down better diagnosis as a cause. So it's just interesting looking at the different news organizations and what they choose to pick out as how they're reporting some of the stuff that he's working on. I think a lot of people, I kind of felt like, let's have a look at it anyway under the hood. Let him see. I mean, he may be totally wrong. He may be, but there may be some things that he comes out with that if some of these food manufacturers start modifying what it is that they're putting into the food that we have in our country, I can't imagine that'd be a bad thing.
I would agree with that.
I don't know about all of his stuff that he's pushing, but, you know, let's take it on a case-by-case basis.
Yes. I did see an article last week that said the thimerosal in vaccines, which is a very common mercury-based type preservative, does not show to affect autism any. Now, again, they're just looking at thimerosal versus non-thimerosal vaccines, and I'm kind of still wondering, and I don't think there's a direct connection there, but is this one of a set of cascading type mechanisms that might have something to do with autism? But it by itself does not show to be affecting it. I think we have such an increase in autism that there's something somewhere, and
some combination of things or timing of things or something. Like you say, it may not be this one thing by itself, but well, hopefully we'll find out. Because,
I would like to be able to find out, yes, because it was kind of described that back in the early 1900s, if you were a school teacher, your whole career, you may see one child with autism. Now it's like 1 in every 20 students that has some version of autism. So
yeah,
I don't know. I haven't looked at historical data. I don't know how true that is, but it has been one of those statements, and it kind of rings true. Of course, back in the early 1900s, we had a lot of other things that were causing early death or early diseases that handicapped people, and polio, and that type of thing. And so I don't want to say there's a trade-off in there, but that may have something to do with skewing some of the early data. Because if you had a child that might have had autism but died off because of polio, that's somebody that you wouldn't have seen in the school system at that time that you would have today. So, it's hard to say. It's hard to categorize all these different statements.
It is, and there were a lot of different factors. I mean, you had horses, in the street,
yes,
which we don't have now. Sanitation standards were different. There were different diseases that we didn't have medicines for that we have medicines for now. So there are a lot of factors and reporting may be different. It may not have been called autism. It may have been called something different, or not even recognized or diagnosed the same way that we categorize things nowadays. So there's a lot of research that needs to be done before you can just say a blanket statement. Well, nobody had autism, and now we have way too much of it. You got to look at everything.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And in general, I think RFK Jr. is a good person to be looking at that. He's better than what we've had in the past. He may not be the best, but in my opinion, I think he is in a position and of a mind frame to do a better job than what we have had historically.
Well, we'll wait and see how that all works out. Anything else people need to be thinking about this summer, or getting ready for July and the county fair and all that kind of stuff? What's the best way to keep those mosquitoes from bugging you?
That's a good question. I wish we had a magic bullet for that. But
I do, yeah. Maybe it's our diet. If you eat certain foods, the mosquitoes will stay away.
And there is a B vitamin that, and I want to see it's B2. I'd have to go back and look it up. But one of the B vitamins is supposed to help keep mosquitoes away from you. I don't know how well that actually works, but that is one of the things that has been written about. Mosquito repellent does as good a job as anything, and if you're on the back porch, citronella candles, that type of stuff. So
that's right. Some of that still works.
It still does. It may not be 100% effective, but it still works better than not having anything.
That's right. And cleaning up around the yard and the neighborhood and getting rid of the old tires and anything that can hold water. I mean, it's funny, we've had rain now, so we have to talk about these things.
Yes.
And anywhere where water gathers and collects for any length of time is a potential breeding place for mosquitoes and stuff like that. So
absolutely, just dump it out.
Yeah, let it get dried out. Kirk, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Folks, stay healthy, walk, exercise, just eat a balanced diet. And, good multivitamins, probably not a bad thing. That's what doctors have told me.
Yes.
And you've said it, I think, a few
absolutely.
times too.
Yep.
And just stay healthy and active and get some sun.
Get some sun when you can, but not so much that you burn.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Very good. Well, I appreciate your time.
Sure.
And we'll see
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get Mel on the line and see if she's got a joke or two for us. That's coming up next on the Good Morning Artesia radio show.
Lights, camera, action. Get superhero savings during our summer blockbuster sales event going on right now at Roswell Ford. Hey Roswell, you don't need to be a hero to pay zero. Drive home a new Ford with zero down and zero payments this summer. Plus, at Roswell Ford, everyone gets employee pricing. You heard right. At Roswell Ford, you pay what we pay on our huge inventory of new Fords. Stuck in your loan or lease and want out early? Roswell Ford can get you released, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. Don't let the credit villains keep you from driving your dream car. At Roswell Ford, getting approved is a possible mission, so you can pay what we pay. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find the best car and get massive American-made savings and the best car buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, because we'll do whatever it takes to make a deal. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balances refinanced to new loan. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
Celebrate the 4th of July Artesia style. This town is lighting up with action-packed fun. Stars, Stripes, and Dinks Pickleball, the Star Spangled Dash 5K, Volley in the USA, cornhole, disc golf, and the Firecracker Golf Scramble. Don't miss the Main Street USA Parade and this year's grand finale, our first ever custom drone show, lighting up the sky in place of fireworks. Get all the details and sign up at artesiachamber.com or find us on Facebook. It's all happening in the City of Champions, Artesia, New Mexico. Paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
Looking to start, continue, or complete your higher education journey? Join the more than 5,700 current Greyhounds on their journey to student success. Eastern New Mexico University offers the most affordable higher education degree in the Southwest, and New Mexico residents can go to school tuition-free with the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship. With online or in-person degrees, ENMU is the right choice for you. For more information, visit enmu.edu. ENMU, student success, that's what we're about.
Searching for a church that honors God? Come to First Church Artesia at 4th and Grand. We're a family of believers putting Christ first, preaching the Bible with reverence and uniting all ages in family-integrated worship. Sundays at 10:45 a.m., experience the timeless truth and heartfelt praise. We're reaching Artesia with the good news, living all of Christ for all of life. Check out artesiareform.com or find us on Facebook, First Church Artesia, where faith thrives.
Wouldn't you love more quality family time? But everyone has their noses in their phones and tablets. With PVT Experience IQ, you can enjoy screen-free family time. Pause all internet-connected devices to enjoy a board game or talk around the dinner table. With Experience IQ in the PVT Connect IQ app from PVT in Southeast New Mexico, you can enjoy more family time. Visit the PVT website at pvt.com to find out if you can get PVT Internet.
Hey, we're back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. Mel is with us. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Mel is well. So now that you've kicked Aaron out of the country, what big changes are you going to make in the office?
We get to dress down every day while he's gone.
There you go, and all new furniture and new carpet and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Pizza Friday and
yep.
Yeah, hot dog Wednesday and all that other good stuff. So. Yeah.
When Dave was around, what I used to do when he wasn't around,
right.
I would throw stuff away that he would just want to keep.
You know, I worked for a guy in Alabama who, his name was Bob, and said, "Hey Bob, we need a new cart machine." "No, we can't afford it. Keep using what we got. It works fine." So the guy that was his engineer would bring a cart machine in, and he'd set it up in the studio, and Bob would come in. "What's that doing here? I told you we can't afford anything. We're not buying anything." And the engineer would say, "Well, I've worked on this and cleaned it up and fixed it. I'm going to sell it to another radio station, but I just wanted to make sure it's all tested and it's working okay. Is that all right if I do that for testing purposes?" Well, that's okay, but I'm telling you, we're not buying it. And after about 3 or 4 days of it being in there, Bob would go to the engineer and he'd say, how much are you wanting for that cart machine? And that's how we got new stuff at...
Bob was stubborn.
Bob was very stubborn. Yes, he was. No question about that.
Well, lucky for me, I work for the best boss in the world, so.
You don't work for me.
Oh, you're right. The second best boss.
That's okay. Lana's screaming at the radio right now. No, that's not true. That's not true. Let's see. This joke is called Making Babies.
Okay.
A third.
I'm very good at that.
Yeah. A third grade girl came home from school. She was very happy, and her mom noticed this. Mom said, "What makes you so happy today?" And the girl said, "Mom, we learned how to make babies in school today." So Mother thought that third grade was a little bit early for that, and she asked her daughter to tell her how. And she said, "It's easy, Mom. You just drop the Y and add IES." So, all right. I thought it was funnier than that, but that's okay.
That's cute.
All right. One more. I have my dog shaming calendar here, and this dog is on his back and, all submissive because he's been bad.
Mm.
I act like a dead bug whenever I hear the word bath. So he hears the word bath and he just rolls over dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it works, does it?
No.
No.
That's cute.
Yep.
I love dog videos and cat videos. They're the best.
There's some pretty good stuff that you see on there, and then there's some pretty crazy stuff. The most recent one, somebody took AI and they said people are going to say this is fake, and the cats are getting up on the diving board and then they're doing the somersault, the rollovers and everything and diving into the pool.
Oh my goodness.
And
For
I'm
real?
like,
But it's real?
no, it's AI.
Oh, okay.
What cat would on purpose dive into a pool of water?
There's actually some cats who do like water.
Ah, okay. I've not heard of them. What do you have for us today?
Well, I have a cat story for you. I wish we would have recorded. We were sitting around talking, and our cat, Mikey, he used to go outside and, come in all the time. And so we were sitting around talking. My daughter was sitting on the floor, and she's like, Mikey was out there starting trouble with the other cats. Like he was being a menace, like a bully. And our cat, because our cat been sitting there all calm and stuff, and all of a sudden he gets up and he smacks her right in the mouth. And we were laughing so hard because she was snitching on him. Oh, if only we could have had that recorded.
Oh my gosh, so the cat just had heard enough.
Yep.
Yep, that was it. That's pretty fun. And that's a true story.
That's a true story. I think that could have won. Remember when they used to send in videos and you would win money for it or whatever? Do you remember that program?
I do. America's Funniest Home Videos.
There you go. Yeah, I'm like, we could have won for that because he was basically telling her, stop being a snitch.
Yeah, but now we've got YouTube and Facebook and all these other social media platforms, so we don't need to do that anymore. Speaking of cats smacking the other cat, there's a guy I follow on X. His name is Templar, Templar. And he's got two cats, and the first cat is telling the second cat a joke. And when he gives the punchline, the second cat just starts whacking the first cat. So...
Oh, that's the best.
Let's see. Can I even... let's see. I need to see if I can tell... Okay. Here we go. So many people are judgmental these days. Oh, I can tell just by looking at them. Let's see. Is this one I can tell? No.
I got one.
Okay.
What do you call a cow with a twitch?
A cow with a twitch?
Yes.
Steak fingers.
Beef jerky.
Beef jerky, of course. I like it. That's a good one. All right. Well, we probably ought to see what the markets are doing.
Okay.
All right.
This is Mel Mendoza with LPL Financial, member of FINRA and the SIPC, bringing you your mid-morning stock market report for Wednesday, July 2nd. The S&P 500 was relatively unchanged on Wednesday after a new report showed private payrolls surprisingly decreased in June, raising concern over the state of the U.S. economy. The benchmark index traded around the flat line, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 0.5%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 113 points. The private sector lost 33,000 jobs last month, according to the latest report by ADP. That marks the first monthly decline in ADP's payrolls since March 2023. Economist polls by Dow Jones expect payrolls to grow by 100,000. The report comes with the stock market near record highs despite concerns that lingering trade tensions between the U.S. and other countries could slow U.S. and global economic growth. To be sure, the ADP report has a lackluster record predicting the government's monthly jobs report, which is due out Thursday. Economists expect growth of 110,000 jobs for June. The market may also be taking some solace in growing expectations for a Federal Reserve rate cut later this month. The CME Group's FedWatch tool shows a roughly 25% chance of the central bank lowering at its July meeting, up from 20% a day before. Wall Street is coming off a mixed session, with the Dow surging 400 points while the S&P 500 and Nasdaq closed lower than after a broad decline in tech shares. The Dow got a boost as investors rotated into materials and healthcare stocks. Traders also kept an eye on President Donald Trump's tax and spending bill, which narrowly passed the Senate on Tuesday. The measure returns to the House, where there are still holdouts among the GOP lawmakers. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 82 points to 44,412. The Nasdaq Composite is up 118 points to 20,321. The S&P 500 is up 10 points at 6,208. For stocks of local interest, Walmart is down 54 cents to $97.70. Xcel Energy is down 63 cents to $68.08. EOG is down 33 cents to $120.86. Apple is up $4.62 to $212.44. Amazon is down 15 cents to $220.31. This is Mel Mendoza with Oakley & Irving Wealth Management, serving business owners and energy industry employees in the Pecos Valley and beyond. Find us at oiwealth.com or at our offices in Artesia and Carlsbad. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and the SIPC.
Did you go to France?
No.
Oh, sounded like a French song that was coming out of your phone.
I apologize. That was my phone, and I do have a French song on there. I'm obsessed with France. I want to go there. I named my daughter Paris.
Yeah, well, that's one way. That's one way of doing that. All right. Well, now that I know, is that all of your phone calls, or just one specific?
No,
person?
just the main one.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you have a great day, and hopefully the roof won't leak today.
Oh, yes. You too, Gene. Thank you so much. Stay dry.
All right. You too, Mel. Thank you. All right. Mel will have the closing markets for us at 4:30. Sean Hannity with a thought on the news of the day.
Your morning cup of Sean. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
You know, the idea that we shouldn't have billionaires, he said, I don't think that we should have billionaires.
All right, you are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country.
Equality. This is why I call him Marxist Mamdani, because to each according to his need, from each according to his ability. That's right out of Karl Marx's mouth. And that's exactly what he's talking about with equality here.
The conservative underground meets later today on the Sean Hannity Show.
Hey, it's Sean Hannity here. It's no secret. I have been very outspoken ever since I was able to save money. I've been a long-time buyer of precious metals like gold and silver. In fact, I've been purchasing them for many decades now, and I'm so glad that I have. But who do I choose to help safeguard my money? Here's the deal. I've been with the award-winning precious metals dealer Goldco for years now. I am a customer of Goldco, and I was frankly relieved to find a great company that I trust and that I have stuck with, and they stick with me for the long haul. They keep it simple, and they've taught me a whole lot about the value of precious metals and how they can help protect your savings. I simply want you to call, no obligation, 855-815-GOLD, or just go to HannityGold.com. They'll send you a free 2025 gold and silver kit. You'll also learn about their unlimited bonus silver offer, and you're not going to want to miss that one, trust me. Anyway, call now, 855-815-GOLD, or just go to HannityGold.com. That's HannityGold.com today. Hey.
Hey, we're back on Good Morning Artesia, our final segment for today, and Ray Lynn is here from CVE. Hello.
Hi.
What is this stuff coming out of the sky?
I don't know, but I really like it. I've kind of gotten used to this cooler weather. It's been extremely nice.
It has. Like we had 76 was the high yesterday.
Yes.
99 a year ago.
Right.
We had 26 1/100ths of an inch of rain in the last 24 hours. And we're now up to 6.32 inches of rain for the year.
Cool.
So the only thing is they're trying to paint a community mural.
I know that kind of hinders that, but believe me, it won't last long, and they'll get it. They'll get it done,
and it looks really good what they've done so far.
I need to go by there. I keep telling myself.
Yeah.
I need to go by there and paint.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, I showed up to take pictures, and they said, "You ready to paint?" I said, "Nope, I'm ready to take pictures."
Good.
Yeah,
there
good
you
for
go.
You. Yeah. That was a big help, but it's coming along nicely.
Good.
You wanted to talk a little bit about some of the power outages that have been around the area.
I do.
And it's not just CVE; it's XL.
XL. Mm-hmm.
That one affected some of theirs have been at like 2, 3 in the morning.
Right.
And it affected the KSVP transmitter site. Wasn't at the house, it wasn't here, but it was there. And I knew about it because when the power comes back on, I get a phone call.
Oh, gotcha.
At
All
2
right.
o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And saying, hey, we're back on. And but we're not alone. Other people have been affected by it, and apparently CVE customers were affected by it.
We don't receive our power from XL Energy. We get our power from Western Farmers Electric Cooperative in Oklahoma. But they have to have a way to get that power to us. And so I kind of think of, so there's two different terms. There's transmission lines and there's distribution lines. And the distribution lines are the smaller poles and wires that you see around town. And then the transmission lines are the larger power lines that you see, and those are built to transport the power longer distances. And so I think of it kind of as a highway system. And so we use the transmission lines that XL Energy owns to get our power from Western Farmers in Oklahoma to us here in our area. And so we're using their highway, XL Energy's highway.
Got it.
If they have a wreck on the highway, it's going to affect us. So if they have an issue with their transmission line, it's going to affect the power that we get, and then that we distribute to our members. And so we've had some people in the West Artesia area, because of that transmission problem that Xcel Energy has found, and they are working on correcting that. It did affect some of our members. And so when a couple weeks ago, Xcel had some transmission kind of north of Roswell area go down too, and we had some customers out because of that as well. And we can't help it. Outages happen. We don't like to see our members without power. But when it's Xcel Energy's issue, it's out of our hands, and we have to just sit back and wait for them to get their issue fixed, and then we can get power back to our members. And sometimes people don't like to hear that answer. We've had some comments on Facebook that they looked at the Xcel Energy outage map, and it didn't show that Xcel Energy had an outage in that area. Well, they're only showing you their distribution outages. They're not showing you transmission outages. And so it wouldn't show up there. And if you call Xcel Energy, if you're a CV member, call because you don't think that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to recognize an outage because you're not an Xcel Energy customer. You're a CVE customer. And again, they're only reporting on their distribution outages, on things like that. Not on their transmission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
And I take it there's not a lot of choices of highways to get on.
Correct.
So you can't take a detour.
Exactly.
To
And
use that metaphor.
right. I mean, and you can to a certain extent. We can do some switching in substations and different things like that when it is our issue. But when it's a transmission issue, we can't do that. So, but we have had some of our own we do own some transmission lines. Excuse me. And we have had some of those. There was a storm go through North Roswell a couple of weekends ago, and it snapped some transmission poles in half. And so our guys get out there. Of course, they've got to get all their equipment here in Artesia and get there and get everything repaired. They've got to make sure that it's safe for them to make the repairs. And then once they get out there, they may find something else that causes an issue. So, and then it just seems like it kind of snowballs. Last week when it was raining, we did have the Dexter Midway area was out of power, and that was a substation issue that we had because a snake decided to climb up into our substation equipment, and that caused a little bit of a headache for us, and we had people out. And in that situation, we are able to do some switching around on some of the circuits in the substations and get people back on sooner. But again, we don't like to see anybody out of power. That's not what we're in the business for.
It's interesting to see the some of the theories that people have.
Right.
That now they have the ability to share to more than just their household.
Right.
On this, I've never thought anything negative. I figure if something has gone out that they're aware of it, whether it's you or Xcel, and they're going to get on it as soon as they can.
Right.
To fix it. But snakes happen. Been there, done that.
Right. Right.
Storms happen. And so from a utility standpoint, I guess a lot of your training and your preparation is to be ready to go when that situation happens.
And we have crews on call. We rotate our crews and our servicemen, and they rotate throughout the month. They have a week that they're on call. And, if something happens, they're the ones that are going to go out and respond. If it's something too big that they just can't handle, then we're going to call in everybody. We kind of have plans in place. We keep extra equipment on hand, to kind of take care of some of these things. And then we do try our very, very best to inform people through social media, through our website, through email communications that we do about outages. But we don't always get updates on when the power is going to be restored or what the problem was, because those guys are out there working. And the last thing they want is for me to call them and say, well, can you give me an estimated time of restoration? I want to keep them working. I don't want them to be distracted by me. But then sometimes they do call in and they will give us updates.
Right.
And when we get those, we will update you. So
Yeah.
don't think that we have just forgot about it and we don't want to update you. But sometimes we just don't know those answers at the time.
Sure. We, for our stations, we get power from XL and from CVE. And so I'm on the XL app. And they've made it a lot easier to report outages now, which is very helpful. And they seem to be doing a decent job with the updates. The time estimates sometimes
Those are going to be
are estimates.
Exactly, because like I said, they could get out there and there could be more damage than they really originally thought. Well, that's going to extend the outage.
Sure. So do you, with your app, with the CVE app, is there a way to report outages through that app?
There is a way to report outages through that app. We do not want you to report outages on social media.
Right.
Or through our website, because those are not manned 24 hours. So, and then on our website, we do have an outage map, and sometimes there's a box where the dispatcher can, when she knows some information, she can jot in a little message or a note or an update on that outage map.
Okay. But with the app, if you have the power out at your location, your CVE customer,
Yes,
you can.
you should be able
do
to.
that.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of upgrades in the CVE technology to identify where outages are and be notified of outages almost immediately.
Absolutely. So we do have smart meters, and with those smart meters, we can tell when the power goes out to a meter. It sends an information back to our SCADA system. I don't know what that stands for.
It's some kind of radio
we like
link,
our we like our acronyms, and then sometimes we know about the outage before we start to get phone calls out, and we already have crews dispatched. So, but we don't ever mind people calling in to report an outage.
That's right. That's right. Because you may miss one. And,
Right.
Especially if you've got someone in your family that, say, is on oxygen.
Right.
Or something like that. That's important to know.
Right. And if that is the case, there are forms that we need you to fill out. That way we can denote that in our account, in your account, of any kind of medical issue or anything like that we would need to flag your account for.
Okay.
And there's paperwork that you have to fill out and keep on file with us for that. You can't just call in and we'll put that on there for you.
No, I know. And from personal experience, I know Lana filled out stuff for, when her mother was alive. And,
right.
And she lived where it was CVE was her provider. And we made sure all that stuff was filled out and everything. So, nobody wants the power to go out. It's unfortunate when it happens, but I tend to think around here we seem to have pretty good power.
We do.
Pretty stable power for,
we do.
For our area. And very reasonably priced, by the way.
Very true. Very true. And we've got great servicemen and linemen that work for CVE, and they will work tirelessly to get your power back on as quickly as possible. And I just want people to know that when the lights go out, it doesn't matter the time of day, the time of night, if it's a holiday, if it's raining, snowing, the wind's blowing 1,000 miles an hour, and the power goes out, those guys are going to go out and do their best to get it fixed as quickly and as safely as possible.
Flooding,
yes, absolutely.
That seems to be the current thing that we're dealing with as much as anything else. So well, good. Get the app for CVE if you're a CVE customer, so that you can use it to report outages.
Yes.
And there's a lot of other information on the app too that's available.
There is. You can sign up for outage alerts. I have outage alerts set up for my house, so if I'm at work or out of town and the power goes off at my house, I'm going to get a text message notification to let me know that the power's out. So, and then just a few tricks and tips if your power is out for an extended period of time in the summertime and you're worried about that new half of beef you just put in the freezer.
Don't open the door to check on it.
Don't open the freezer. If you leave that freezer shut, it's going to keep that cool in.
For several hours.
Yes.
Yes, a long time. But the more you check on it,
exactly,
you're letting all that bought air out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I wonder how many people need to be reminded of that, but apparently they do.
Right.
So it's the Smart Hub app?
It is the Smart Hub app, yes. You can go to our website at cvecoop.org, and there is a link up at the top, kind of at the top right, that you can get the Smart Hub app.
Okay.
Or you can search Smart Hub in your App Store.
App Store, Play Store, whatever version of phone you
whatever
have.
Whatever it is.
We that's good to do. I'll have to do that. Although with what we get power from you guys for, I usually know right away because the radio station goes off the air. So I'm usually one of the first people sometimes to call. But I do try to sleep sometime in the overnight. But no, for it's good to be in the know and know that whether you've reported the outage or somebody else has reported the outage, somebody is working on it as soon as that outage occurs, and they're going to try to get it up and running as soon as they can.
Absolutely.
So, well, good deal. Anything else?
I think we're good.
You guys getting ready for the fair?
We are. We have our fair booth all ready to go.
Okay.
And we will be set up there, and we'll have some goodies.
Now, you're not the ones with the free popcorn, right?
No. But we're always right by them.
I know. You're not the ones with the free fly swatters, are you?
We are this year.
You are? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think I need a new one.
Okay. Well, I'll bring you one.
We still have one. Well, I'll be out there, hopefully.
Well, I can bring you one early.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. This is the one we got from the other folks. You can tell it's been used.
Right?
But, no, I'm glad you're doing that.
Yes.
Got to go get your fly swatters and your popcorn and check out the fair this year. It's going to be kind of interesting because they've started the preliminary work on the new building.
Yes. My son and I drove out there, I think on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got some concrete up, and there's progress.
There's progress.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an inconvenience for a couple of years, but once it's done,
it'll be great.
The plans I've seen, it looks fantastic.
It will be great. Yeah.
And they've got a big concert this year.
They do.
A couple of concerts this year.
They do, yep.
And bull riding.
And
a carnival.
And there's going to be some kids showing some livestock in the middle of all that too.
Of course. So. And we're going to be there with our cameras, and we're going to be showing it. We were looking at our streaming stats from August 1st through May 31st, which is basically the school year.
Right.
Between the morning shows, Artesia Sports, Goddard, Roswell Sports, the livestock shows, because we've done Artesia, Eddy County Fair, Chaves County Fair, Eastern New Mexico State Fair. We had over 1 million views last year.
That's awesome.
We broke 1 million.
Well, let me tell you, my son was out working his show animals the other day. And so we walk them behind our Polaris. And he was rewatching the dairy show from Eastern.
Okay, that's cool.
And he wanted to rewatch that and listen to what the judge had said about reasons, and
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm glad that that's being used for that benefit. The 2 most watched events that we streamed, of all of the things that we streamed, were the Eddy County Fair Junior Livestock Auction.
Oh, awesome.
And the Eastern New Mexico State Fair Junior Livestock Auction.
Oh, that's
Those
cool.
were the 2 most watched of all the things that we did.
Awesome.
Were those 2 events.
Well, I really do appreciate you doing that way.
Looking forward to it.
Aunts and uncles that don't live in New Mexico can watch my kids.
Yeah, and if you tell people that don't understand, they still don't understand.
No, right.
But we understand.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's it for the show. Scott will be with you tomorrow, and Gil Gross on Friday. See you then.
This is Steve Hamilton.